Welcome, friend. Tonight we begin our journey together into the quiet of the long night. This is not a space for effort and not a place where you need to understand anything. There is nothing you are required to do and nothing you are expected to achieve. You are here simply to rest, to allow the mind to slow and to let the body settle naturally as the night unfolds. Wherever you are listening from, take a moment to notice that you have already arrived. The day does not need to be reviewed. Tomorrow does not need to be prepared for. For now it is enough to be here, breathing supported by the stillness around you. At the long night, these stories are shared as a quiet companion through the hours of darkness. They are not meant to be followed closely, and they are not meant to keep you awake. They are offered gently, allowing your attention to come and go, allowing sleep to arrive whenever it wishes. As you listen, you may find your thoughts drifting. You may miss parts of the story. This is not a problem. There is no need to stay focused and no need to hold on to any words. Everything here is designed to soften, not to engage. Throughout the night, we will move slowly through a series of quiet reflections. Each one will unfold in its own time, carrying you deeper into rest. If you fall asleep early, the journey will continue without you. If you remain awake, the words will remain gentle and unhurried. There is no right way to experience this night. For now, allow your body to become heavy, allow your breath to slow, and allow the mind to release its grip. The long night is here to carry you, and nothing more is needed from you. We begin gently. We begin by arriving where we already are. Not by changing anything, not by reaching for a different state, but by noticing this moment as it is. There is nothing that needs to be improved, nothing that needs to be fixed, and nothing that needs to be understood. The beginning of this journey is quiet and simple. We notice that we are here. For much of our lives, we move through moments without fully inhabiting them. Even now, as we listen, the mind might not be entirely present. Part of it may still be moving through the day that has passed, replaying fragments of conversations, moments that linger longer than they need to. Another part may already be leaning forward, anticipating what comes next, wondering how long this will last or whether something should be happening by now. We do not need to stop this movement. We do not need to correct it or push it away. This is simply what the mind has learned to do. And noticing this gently without judgment is already a form of arriving. As we notice the movement of the mind, we also begin to notice the body, not as an object to control, but as a place to rest. Feel the body where it is supported, the surface beneath you, the way the body is already being held without any effort on your part. You do not need to hold yourself together. Gravity is doing that for you. Notice the natural rhythm of the breath, in and out, rising and falling. There is no need to breathe in a particular way. No need to slow the breath or deepen it. Breathing has been happening on its own, quietly and faithfully, long before you began listening, and it will continue without your attention. As awareness rests here, something subtle begins to change. The urgency to manage the moment softens. The sense that something must be done eases, even if only a little. Thoughts may still appear, but they no longer need to be followed. Sounds may arise around you, some near, some far, some clear, some barely noticeable. They come and go without effort. You do not chase them and you do not push them away. They pass through awareness naturally, leaving no trace behind. Thoughts can be allowed to do the same. A thought may appear, A memory, a plan, a sentence forming quietly in the background. We do not complete it. We do not argue with it. We simply notice it and allow it to pass, just as we allow a sound to fade when it has finished. And as we remain here, we begin to sense that the thoughts and sounds are not the whole of what is happening. Beneath the movement, there is a quiet steadiness that does not rush. It does not strive. It does not ask anything of us. It has been present all along, unnoticed, only because we were moving too quickly to feel it. This steadiness is not created by effort. It is revealed by stillness. We stay with what is here, the breath as it is, the body as it rests, the mind as it moves and settles in its own rhythm. Nothing is excluded. Nothing needs to be fixed or improved. If attention drifts, that is not a mistake. Wandering is simply another experience that can be noticed. The moment we realize we have drifted, we are already back. Awareness does not need to travel far. It has never left. There is a quiet permission in this moment. Permission to be exactly as we are without explanation or justification. We are not rehearsing the past, and we are not preparing for the future. We are allowing this moment to be enough. Perhaps the body begins to soften. Perhaps the shoulders release slightly, or the jaw loosens. Or perhaps nothing obvious happens at all. Whatever is noticed is sufficient. Presence does not require a particular sensation to confirm it. As we remain here, time begins to feel less demanding, not because it disappears, but because it no longer needs to be managed. We are not moving toward anything. We are not trying to arrive somewhere else. We are simply allowing this moment to unfold in its own quiet way. And so we stay letting this simple awareness settle a little more deeply, without needing to go anywhere, without needing to do anything more. Staying here, we may begin to notice how unfamiliar this stillness can feel. We are so used to moving, thinking, adjusting, responding, that simply remaining can feel strange at first. The mind may look for something to hold on to, something to engage with, something to improve. This, too, can be noticed without judgment. We are not trying to empty the mind. We are not trying to stop anything from happening. We are simply allowing what is already happening to be seen more clearly. As we stay, sensations continue to shift. The breath changes its rhythm on its own. The body adjusts, subtly settling where it needs to settle. Small movements happen without being planned. All of this unfolds naturally when we are not interfering. Thoughts may still arise, some familiar, some vague, some barely formed. They may appear to pull attention away for a moment. When that happens, we do not pull attention back forcefully. We simply notice where it has gone, and that notice in itself is enough to bring us home again. Again and again, without effort, awareness returns. We may begin to sense that presence is not something we do, but something that happens when we stop doing so much. It is not created by concentration. It does not require discipline. It reveals itself when we allow things to be as they are. There is a quiet intimacy in this moment, a sense of being with experience rather than standing apart from it. The breath is not something we observe from a distance. It is something we are part of. The body is not an object we manage. It is the place where we are. As this recognition deepens even slightly, the boundary between observer and experience begins to soften. There is less effort in watching, less distance in noticing. Awareness feels more like a gentle openness than a focused gaze. Nothing dramatic needs to happen here. Presence often arrives without ceremony. It does not announce itself. It is felt as a simple ease, a subtle rightness, a sense that for this moment, nothing is missing. We remain with this simplicity. If impatience arises, we notice it. If restlessness appears, we notice that too. There's no need to push these experiences away. They are simply more movements passing through the same open space of awareness. And as we stay, something else becomes clear. The present moment is not a thin slice of time between past and future. It is wide, spacious, capable of holding everything that appears within it without strain. The past may offer memories, the future may offer thoughts, but they arise here now and dissolve here now. Nothing needs to be carried beyond this moment. This understanding does not need to be thought about. It is felt directly when we remain still long enough. There is a quiet trust that begins to form, a trust that awareness can hold whatever arises, a trust that we do not need to manage experience so closely, a trust that simply being here is enough. We are not arriving at a conclusion. We are not reaching the end of anything. We are settling into a way of being that can continue quietly in the background even as the journey moves on. And so we stay with this presence, letting it become familiar, letting it deepen in its own time, allowing the simplicity of being here to carry us gently forward, without hurry, without resistance, as the night continues to unfold. Remaining present teaches us something quietly profound. When we stop running from experience, when we allow thoughts and emotions to appear without immediately reacting, a natural softening begins. We realize that much of what exhausts us is not life itself, but the effort of holding everything together. The mind tightens not because it must, but because it has learned to believe that letting go is dangerous. The Buddha observed that suffering often comes from this very habit of grasping. We cling to thoughts, to emotions, to stories about ourselves and our lives, believing that if we release them, something essential will be lost. Yet when we look closely, we begin to see that what we are holding is already moving. Experience does not stay still. Thoughts change, feelings shift. Life flows whether we allow it or not. Remaining present reveals this movement, and once we see it, another question naturally arises. If everything is already changing, what would it be like to stop resisting that change? What would happen if, instead of gripping our experience so tightly, we allowed it to move through us? This is where the journey now turns. We have learned how to arrive. We have learned how to remain. Now we begin to explore release, not as an act of force, not as something we command, but as something that happens naturally when we stop holding against the current of our own lives. With this understanding, we gently shift our attention forward toward a different image, a different way of seeing, one that has been used for centuries to illustrate the art of letting go. And so we continue our journey together toward the quiet presence of a river that has been flowing all along. We continue our journey carrying with us the quiet presence we have already begun to touch. There is no need to leave it behind. What we have discovered in stillness is not fragile, not tied to a single moment of calm. It moves with us just as we move through the world, shaping how we meet each new experience. As our attention gently shifts, we find ourselves standing beside a wide, tranquil river. It stretches before us with an unhurried confidence, its surface moving steadily, continuously, without interruption. The air here feels cooler, fresher, carrying the subtle scent of water and earth. The sound of the river reaches us as a low rhythmic murmur, water flowing over smooth stones, shaping them slowly over time. This river has been flowing long before we arrived, and it will continue long after we leave. It does not rush to reach its destination. It does not pause to question its direction. It simply flows. When we take the time to really look, we begin to notice how the surface of the water changes from moment to moment. Light dances across it in shifting patterns, sometimes bright and shimmering, sometimes dark and reflective. Leaves drift along the current, twigs and fragments of foam carried effortlessly downstream. Nothing argues with the movement of the water. Nothing resists where it is being taken. Each object meets the river and is received, carried onward without struggle. Standing here, we may begin to sense that this river is offering us more than a pleasant image. There is an invitation in its movement, a quiet teaching revealed, not through words but through observation. Just as the river allows everything placed upon it to move freely, we too are allowed to let things move through us. As we turn our attention inward, we may notice that we have been carrying more than we realized. Throughout the day, throughout our lives, we accumulate concerns without meaning to, worries about what has already happened, anxieties about what might come next, thoughts that repeat themselves, unresolved feelings that linger in the background of our awareness. Often we hold these things automatically, believing that to release them would be careless or irresponsible. Yet, standing beside the river, we are invited to consider another possibility. We do not need to examine what we are holding. We do not need to decide whether it is justified or important. If something is present, it belongs to our experience in this moment, and here by the river we are offered a simple image. We imagine placing what we have been carrying into the water, not throwing it away, not forcing it to disappear, but setting it down gently as one might place a leaf on the surface of the river. The current receives it immediately, beginning to carry it forward. As we imagine this release, we may notice subtle shifts within ourselves. Perhaps the shoulders soften slightly, or the breath becomes easier. Perhaps there is a faint sense of space opening where there was once tension, or perhaps nothing obvious happens at all. Whatever we notice is enough. Release is not measured by dramatic sensation. It is measured by willingness. The river does not question what we place into it. It does not judge the weight or significance of what it carries. It receives everything equally, allowing each thing to move at its own pace. If we notice the mind reaching back toward what we have released, this too is natural. Habits of holding are deeply ingrained. We have learned to believe that vigilance is necessary, that letting go is risky. When this impulse arises, we simply notice it and once again, imagine placing the burden into the river. Release, we begin to see, is not a single act. It is a process, one that unfolds gradually through repeated moments of letting go. We may then imagine placing something smaller into the water, a minor irritation, a sense of pressure that has been quietly present, a thought about something unfinished. Again, we set it down gently and watch as the current takes it, creating distance without effort. As the river carries these things away, we begin to notice what remains. Beneath the accumulation of concerns, beneath the constant activity of holding and managing, there is a natural spaciousness, a sense of being that does not depend on control. The Buddha taught that much of our suffering arises not from life itself, but from our resistance to its movement. We cling to what has already passed and struggle against what is arriving, exhausting ourselves in the process. The river shows us another way. It shows us that letting go is not loss, but alignment. It is allowing life to move as it already is. Standing here listening to the steady rhythm of the water, we may notice that our breath begins to mirror this movement. Inhaling and exhaling without force, without urgency. We do not need to release everything at once. Even allowing one small thing to drift away is enough to begin. The river will continue to flow, ready to receive whatever we are willing to set down. And as we remain by the river a little longer, we may begin to sense something quietly reassuring. The river has always been here, just as the capacity to release has always existed within us. We have not lost it. We have only forgotten to trust it. We remain by the river a little longer, allowing its presence to continue working on us without effort. The water moves steadily, neither demanding attention nor withdrawing from it. It simply flows, offering a quiet reassurance that movement does not require force. Watching it, we begin to sense how deeply unfamiliar this way of being has become to us. So much of our lives is spent pushing, holding, managing as if life itself might fall apart without our constant involvement. As we stand here, we may feel ready to place something heavier into the water. Not the deepest wound, not the pain that still feels too tender to touch, but something that has quietly occupied space within us. Perhaps a conversation that never reached resolution. A responsibility that feels pressing and relentless. A worry that returns again and again, not dramatic enough to demand attention, yet persistent enough to drain our energy. Rather than think about this burden, we allow ourselves to notice how it lives in the body. We sense where it gathers, how it manifests as tension, weight, or subtle discomfort. The river does not need our explanations. It does not require a story. When we are ready, we imagine placing this burden into the water, noticing the moment when our hands release it. At first, it may drift slowly, lingering near the surface as if uncertain. Then gradually the current takes hold, carrying it forward. As this happens, we observe what arises within us. There may be relief or fear or a strange sense of vulnerability. Letting go can feel unfamiliar, even unsettling. We have been taught that holding on is a form of responsibility, that vigilance keeps us safe. Yet the river does not become chaotic when we release something into it. The flow remains steady, dependable, unchanged by what it carries. We may then imagine the river widening before us. Its banks stretch farther apart, the water deepening and becoming calmer. There is space here, more space than we realized was possible. Into this wider river, we can place smaller concerns one by one. A lingering self-critical thought, a quiet doubt about whether we are enough, a sense of pressure to be somewhere else, to become someone else. We do not rush this process. Each release is an act of trust, and trust grows slowly. With each imagined release, we notice how the river receives everything without resistance. It does not cling to what passes through it, nor does it reject it. It allows movement without judgment. The Buddha taught that letting go is not something we force ourselves to do. It happens naturally when we stop feeding what we cling to. When attention softens, attachment loosens on its own. The river does not try to purify itself. It simply flows. As we rest in the space created by releasing, we may notice a quiet that feels different from emptiness. This is not a void, not an absence. It is spaciousness, a natural openness that exists beneath effort, beneath the constant activity of managing our lives. In this space, Nothing needs to be fixed. Nothing needs to be resolved immediately. There is room to breathe. If the mind reaches out again to grasp what has been released, we notice this gently. Old habits do not dissolve all at once. When the impulse to retrieve something arises, we simply place it back into the water. Again and again, without frustration, release. We begin to understand is a rhythm rather than a single act. Like the river itself, it unfolds through continual movement. Taking a few slow breaths, we allow the body to settle further. Each exhale becomes a softening, a subtle surrender to the fact that life is already moving. We do not need to push it forward. We do not need to hold it in place. Standing here, we may realize something quietly profound. The river has not only been flowing beside us, it has been flowing through us all along. Thoughts arrive and pass. Feelings rise and fall. Sensations shift moment by moment. Life itself is a river, and we are not separate from it. When we stop resisting the current, when we stop exhausting ourselves by swimming upstream, we discover that we are carried. This does not mean losing ourselves. It means releasing the struggle that keeps us from feeling supported by life as it is. We remain here for a final moment, listening to the water, feeling the ground beneath our feet, sensing the ease that comes from not holding. The image of the river may begin to fade, but the feeling it leaves behind does not. We carry with us a deeper trust, not only in the act of letting go, but in the movement of life itself. We can return to this river whenever we need to remember. And as we continue our journey, this quiet understanding travels with us, shaping how we meet what comes next. Having stood by the river and allowed ourselves to release, we begin to sense a subtle shift. Letting go does not leave us empty as we may have feared. Instead, it creates space. And within that space, something quieter becomes possible. When the constant effort of holding loosens, the mind naturally turns inward, not in search of answers, but in curiosity. The Buddha taught that when grasping softens, clarity begins to emerge. Not the clarity of conclusions or solutions, but the clarity of seeing things as they are. Without the weight of what we have been carrying, we become more receptive. We notice not only what is moving away, but what remains. We begin to sense the inner landscape that has been waiting beneath our habits of control. Release prepares the ground for reflection. When the river has carried away what we are ready to set down, what is left is a quieter awareness. One that does not rush forward. One that is willing to pause, to look, to listen. This awareness does not analyze itself. It observes gently, allowing thoughts and feelings to appear without immediately turning them into stories. And so as the sound of flowing water gradually recedes, our attention turns toward a different place. A place where stillness invites us not to release, but to reflect. Where the world grows quieter and the mind begins to see itself more clearly. We continue our journey now away from the movement of water and into the calm presence of a forest where reflection arises naturally in the hush between the trees. We enter the forest as the light begins to soften. The air here is cooler, quieter, carrying the faint scent of earth and leaves. Tall trees rise around us, their trunks steady and unhurried, as if they have been standing in this same calm attention for generations. The sounds of the world beyond the forest fade, replaced by a gentler hush, broken only by the occasional rustle of branches or the distant call of a bird settling in for the evening. Walking slowly among the trees, we notice how naturally our pace begins to change. There is no need to hurry here. The forest does not reward speed. It invites presence. Each step feels deliberate, grounded as though the ground itself is asking us to arrive fully with each movement. The light filters through the canopy in softened patterns, creating pockets of brightness and shadow that shift subtly as we pass. In this quiet space, something begins to turn inward. Without the urgency of movement or the demand to release, the mind starts to observe itself more clearly. Thoughts arise, not as problems to solve, but as passing phenomena, appearing and dissolving within awareness. Feelings surface, sometimes faint, sometimes more pronounced, each carrying its own texture and tone. The forest does not interfere with any of this. It simply holds us while we notice. The Buddha taught that clarity does not come from forcing the mind to be silent, but from allowing it to be seen. When the mind is given space, it reveals its patterns naturally. Here, surrounded by trees that have witnessed countless seasons, we begin to see how much of our inner life has been shaped by habit. The same thoughts return, the same emotional responses repeat often unnoticed as we move through our days at speed. In the forest's stillness, these patterns become visible. We may notice how quickly the mind moves to interpret what arises. A thought appears, and almost immediately it is judged or explained. A feeling surfaces, and the mind rushes to label it as good or bad, welcome or unwanted. Yet, the forest offers another possibility. It suggests that we do not need to rush toward meaning. We can simply observe. We can allow our inner experience to be exactly as it is without trying to improve or correct it. As we continue walking, the path narrows slightly, winding deeper among the trees. The sounds grow more muted, the world feeling increasingly contained within this quiet enclosure. With fewer external distractions, the mind's activity becomes more apparent. We may notice moments of restlessness, subtle impatience, or the urge to reach for something familiar. These too are part of what is being revealed. Reflection does not always show us what we expect. Sometimes it shows us what we have been avoiding. And yet, there is a gentleness to this seeing. The forest does not judge what it reveals, and neither must we. The Buddha spoke of mindful awareness as a form of kindness, a way of meeting experience without aggression. Here, reflection is not self-criticism. It is curiosity. It is the willingness to look honestly without turning what we see into a verdict about who we are. We begin to sense that reflection is not about finding answers. It is about learning how to stay with questions, to remain present with uncertainty without needing to resolve it immediately. In the forest, we see how rarely we allow ourselves this kind of patience. How quickly we move from observation to conclusion, from feeling to reaction. The stillness here offers us another rhythm. As we pause along the path, we may notice how the forest reflects our inner state. When the mind is busy, the forest seems distant, almost muted. When the mind softens, details begin to emerge. The texture of bark, the variation of green in the leaves, the quiet movement of air between branches. Reflection works in both directions. As we see more clearly within, we also see more clearly without. The Buddha taught that insight arises naturally when attention is steady and gentle. It cannot be forced. It cannot be rushed. Like light gradually filling a clearing, understanding appears in its own time when the conditions are right. Here in the forest, we are not trying to understand ourselves. We are creating the conditions in which understanding may arise. Continuing onward, we feel the sense of being held by something larger than our thoughts. The trees stand without asking anything of us. The path unfolds without demanding decisions. In this simplicity, we begin to experience a quiet relief. We do not need to perform. We do not need to arrive anywhere in particular. We are simply walking, observing, allowing. Reflection, we realize, is not an activity of effort. It is a state of receptivity. When we stop filling every moment with doing, the mind naturally begins to see. And in this seeing, there is a subtle sense of grounding, a feeling of being more fully present with ourselves, not as an idea, but as a living experience. As the forest grows quieter around us, we sense that we are being gently guided toward a deeper stillness. Ahead, the path seems to open into a small clearing where something waits to reflect not only the forest but ourselves. We move toward it slowly, carrying with us the calm awareness that reflection has begun and that it will continue to unfold moment by moment as long as we remain willing to see. As we move deeper into the forest, the path opens into a quiet clearing. The trees stand a little farther apart here, allowing more light to gather on the forest floor. At the center of this clearing lies a still pond, its surface smooth and undisturbed, reflecting the world above it with remarkable clarity. The water does not ripple unless something touches it. It simply receives whatever appears before it. We come to rest near the edge of the pond, drawn naturally to its quiet presence. Looking into the water, we see the reflection of the trees, the sky, and eventually ourselves. The image is clear yet delicate. A single movement would distort it, and in this, the pond begins to teach us something important. The Buddha often spoke of the mind as something that reflects experience. When the mind is agitated, what it reflects becomes distorted. When the mind is still, it reflects things as they are. Standing here, we begin to understand this, not as an idea, but as a direct experience. The pond does not try to improve what it reflects. It does not judge the image that appears on its surface. It simply allows it to be seen. As we look at our reflection, thoughts may arise. Memories, judgments, familiar narratives about who we are and how we have lived. The mind may want to interpret the image to decide what it means. Yet the pond invites a different relationship. It asks us to observe without commentary, to see without immediately explaining, to notice what appears and allow it to remain just as it is. In this quiet observation, we may begin to notice how often we relate to ourselves through distortion. We remember our mistakes more vividly than our efforts. We focus on what feels unfinished rather than what has already been carried through. Like a pond constantly stirred by wind, our self-perception is rarely allowed to settle. Here in the forest, we are offered a rare opportunity to see ourselves without agitation. The reflection in the water is neither flattering nor critical. It is simply accurate. It shows us as we are in this moment, standing, breathing, present. The Buddha taught that clear seeing begins when we stop adding or subtracting from experience. When we allow ourselves to meet reality without resistance or embellishment. Insight naturally arises. As we remain here, the surface of the pond begins to reflect more than just our outer form. It mirrors our inner state as well. When the mind becomes quiet, the reflection grows clearer. When restlessness arises, subtle ripples appear. This relationship becomes visible moment by moment. We begin to see how closely our inner world and our perception of reality are connected. Reflection we realize is not about analysis. It is about honesty. It is the willingness to see what is present without turning away. In the forest's stillness, we may notice feelings that have been waiting for space. A quiet sadness, a sense of longing, or perhaps a subtle peace that has been overlooked amid busyness. Whatever appears is welcome. The pond does not reject any image, and neither must we. The Buddha taught that understanding grows when we allow experience to reveal itself fully. We cannot force insight. We can only create the conditions in which it emerges. Here by the pond, those conditions are present. Stillness, attention, gentleness, nothing more is required. As we sit with this reflection, we may notice that the image in the water is always changing. Light shifts, shadows move. Even when we stand perfectly still, the reflection is never exactly the same from one moment to the next. This too is a teaching. The self we see is not fixed. It is a living process unfolding continuously. When we cling to rigid ideas of who we are, we suffer. When we allow ourselves to be fluid like the reflection itself, there is ease. We begin to understand that reflection is not about finding a permanent truth about ourselves. It is about seeing clearly in this moment and then allowing that clarity to change as the moment changes. The pond does not try to preserve an image. It reflects what is here now and then lets it go. As we rise from the edge of the pond, carrying this understanding with us, the forest feels different, quieter, yet more alive. The trees seem less like objects and more like companions in this practice of stillness. We sense that reflection does not end here. It continues wherever we are willing to pause and look. With this gentle clarity, we prepare to leave a forest. Not because we have finished reflecting, but because reflection has given us something to carry forward. A steadier way of seeing, a softer relationship with ourselves. As we move on, the image of the still pond fades, but the capacity it revealed remains ready to reflect whatever life brings next. Reflection gives us clarity, but clarity alone is not yet stability. Seeing our inner patterns, understanding their movement, allows us to relate to ourselves more gently. But life does not remain still. Thoughts continue to arise. Emotions continue to shift. Circumstances change whether we are ready or not. What we have discovered in reflection now asks another question of us. How do we remain steady within movement? The Buddha taught that wisdom must be grounded in something deeper than insight alone. Without steadiness, clarity can easily be swept away by the next strong emotion or unexpected event. We may see clearly in quiet moments, yet feel unmoored when life grows loud again. Reflection shows us what is present, but it is stillness that allows us to stand without being shaken. As we leave the forest, we carry with us the quiet understanding the pond revealed. We have learned to see without distortion, to observe without judgment. Now we are invited to discover what remains unmoved, even as everything changes. To find within ourselves a place of calm that does not depend on conditions being gentle. Our journey turns toward a different landscape, one that does not mirror or flow but stands. A presence that does not shift with weather or light, but endures through it all. Ahead of us rises the quiet outline of a mountain. We arrive at the base of the mountain as the world around us grows quieter. It rises before us with a presence that feels both vast and intimate, solid and reassuring. The mountain does not announce itself. It does not seek attention. It simply stands rooted deeply in the earth, unmoved by the passing conditions around it. Clouds drift across its face. Light changes. Winds move along its slopes. Yet the mountain remains. Standing here, we begin to feel the difference between movement and stability. Everything we have encountered so far has been in motion. The river flowed. Thoughts and emotions passed through us. Even the reflections in the forest pond shifted with the slightest change. The mountain offers something else entirely. It represents a kind of stillness that does not depend on circumstances being calm. It is steady even in the presence of change. The Buddha taught that true peace is not found by eliminating disturbance, but by discovering what remains undisturbed within us. Life will continue to present challenges. Emotions will arise unexpectedly. The mind will sometimes grow restless or uncertain. The question is not how to prevent these things, but how to meet them without losing our center. The mountain stands as a quiet reminder that such steadiness is possible. As we look up at its slopes, we notice how the mountain does not resist what comes to it. Rain falls and nourishes its soil. Snow settles and eventually melts away. Storms pass over its peak, leaving no lasting mark. The mountain does not push these experiences away, nor does it cling to them. It allows them to come and go, remaining unchanged at its core. In this, it mirrors a quality that exists within us as well. We may begin to recognize how rarely we trust this inner stability. When life becomes difficult, we often believe that we must react quickly, fix something immediately, or escape the discomfort. We become entangled in thoughts and emotions swept along by their intensity. Yet standing before the mountain, we are invited to consider another way. What if we could remain present without being pulled into the turbulence? What if there is a part of us that can observe movement without being moved by it? The mountain does not hurry. It does not evaluate its worth based on productivity or progress. It does not measure itself against other mountains. It simply exists, grounded in its own nature. The Buddha spoke of this quality as equanimity, a balanced mind that remains steady amid gain and loss, praise and blame, pleasure and pain. This steadiness is not indifference. It is a deep trust in the unfolding of life. As we stand at the foot of the mountain, we may feel a subtle shift within ourselves. The body begins to settle. The breath deepens naturally. There is a sense of being supported by something larger than our immediate concerns. The mountain does not take away our difficulties, but it changes how we relate to them. In its presence, problems feel less overwhelming, emotions less consuming. We notice how the mountain's strength does not come from rigidity. It has been shaped over time by the very forces it allows to pass. Wind, water, and weather have sculpted its surface, carving valleys and ridges. Yet these changes have not weakened it. They have given it character. In the same way, the experiences of our lives have shaped us. Difficulties have left their marks, but they have also contributed to our depth. The Buddha taught that resilience is not the absence of vulnerability, but the ability to remain open without being broken. The mountain embodies this truth. It is exposed to the elements, yet it endures. It does not close itself off from the world. It stands fully present within it. This presence is what gives it strength. As we take in the mountain's quiet majesty, we may begin to sense that the stillness it represents is not something we must build or acquire. It is something we already possess. Beneath the fluctuations of thought and emotion, beneath the constant activity of the mind, there's a deeper layer of awareness that remains unchanged. This awareness witnesses everything without being damaged by it. We often overlook this inner mountain because we are so accustomed to identifying with movement. We believe we are our thoughts, our emotions, our reactions. But just as the mountain is not the clouds that pass over it, we are not the experiences that move through us. The Buddha taught that recognizing this distinction is a profound step toward freedom. Standing here, we are not asked to climb yet. We are simply invited to notice, to feel what it is like to rest our attention on something that does not shift, to sense the possibility of remaining steady even as life continues to change. The mountain does not promise escape. It offers grounding. As we prepare to move forward, we carry with us this image of stability we have learned to see clearly in reflection. Now we begin to learn how to stand firmly within that clarity. The mountain waits patiently, ready to guide us further into stillness, one step at a time. From the base of the mountain, we begin a slow ascent. There is no urgency in this movement. Each step is taken deliberately, not to reach the summit as quickly as possible, but to remain connected to the ground beneath our feet. The path rises gradually, winding along the contours of the mountain, revealing new perspectives without demanding effort. As we climb, the world below begins to shift. Sounds from the valley grow faint, dissolving into the background. The concerns that once felt immediate lose some of their weight, not because they have disappeared, but because we are no longer standing inside them. Distance creates perspective, and with perspective comes a quiet sense of steadiness. The Buddha taught that when we rise above the constant noise of the mind, we gain the ability to observe life without being consumed by it. This ascent is not about leaving our lives behind. It is about discovering a vantage point from which we can see more clearly. Each step upward feels like a movement away from reactivity and toward understanding. As the path continues, clouds begin to drift below us. They move slowly, forming and dissolving without pattern or intention. From here, they appear soft and harmless, no longer looming or oppressive. We recognize these clouds as familiar. They resemble our thoughts and emotions, constantly shifting, sometimes dense, sometimes light. When we are caught within them, they obscure our view. When we observe them from above, their nature becomes clear. Standing on a quiet ledge, high on the mountain, we pause. The air is thinner here, cooler, carrying a sense of spaciousness that feels both invigorating and calm. From this height, the movement of the clouds no longer feels personal. They pass beneath us, unable to reach the ground on which we stand. In this moment, we experience something the Buddha spoke of often, the difference between being caught in experience and being aware of experience. We may notice how rarely we allow ourselves this perspective in daily life. When emotions arise, we tend to identify with them completely. When thoughts appear, we follow them unquestioningly. Yet here above the clouds, we see that thoughts and emotions are not who we are. They are events that occur within awareness, not the awareness itself. The mountain teaches us that stillness does not require the absence of movement. Clouds can pass, winds can blow, weather can change. Yet the ground beneath our feet remains firm. This is the stillness we are learning to recognize within ourselves, not a fragile calm that shatters at the first disturbance, but a steady presence that allows disturbance to come and go. The Buddha described this quality as unshakable calm. It arises not from controlling experience, but from understanding its nature. When we see clearly that everything that arises will pass, we no longer need to resist or cling. We can allow life to move as it does while remaining rooted in awareness. As we stand here, we may feel a deep sense of rest. Not the rest that comes from distraction or escape, but the rest that comes from no longer needing to struggle. There is nothing we need to fix in this moment, nothing we need to improve. We are simply present, steady, observing the unfolding of life from a place of balance. The mountain does not judge what passes beneath it. It does not favor clear skies over storm clouds. It allows all conditions without losing itself. In this, it reflects a profound teaching. Peace is not the result of perfect circumstances. It is the result of knowing where to stand when circumstances change. We may notice that this perspective changes how we relate to our own challenges. Problems that once felt overwhelming now appear manageable. Emotions that once seemed unbearable now feel transient. This does not diminish their importance, but it frees us from being defined by them. We are no longer inside the storm. We are watching it pass. As we prepare to descend from this high ledge, we do so knowing that we carry this stillness with us. The mountain does not remain behind when we leave. It exists within us as a reference point, a reminder that no matter how turbulent life becomes, there is always a place of steadiness available. We will return to the world below, to movement, to sound, to change. But we return differently. We return knowing that beneath every passing cloud there is solid ground. Beneath every shifting emotion, there is awareness. And beneath the noise of life, there is a stillness that cannot be shaken. With this understanding, we continue our journey, grounded in the quiet strength the mountain has revealed. The mountain has shown us where to stand. It has taught us that beneath all movement there is a ground that does not shift, a steadiness that remains even as clouds gather and dissolve. From this place of stillness, we have learned how to observe without being shaken, how to remain present without being pulled into the turbulence of experience. Yet, stillness alone is not the end of the path. To stand firmly is essential, but clarity also requires openness. The Buddha taught that wisdom is not only rooted like a mountain, but also spacious like the sky. If we cling too tightly, even to stillness, it can become another form of limitation. Balance is found when steadiness and openness meet. As we leave the mountain, we do not descend back into confusion. We carry its grounding with us. And from this stable foundation, our awareness naturally begins to expand. What was once focused and contained now becomes wide and receptive. The sense of self that felt solid begins to soften, allowing experience to unfold within a larger field. When we no longer feel threatened by passing clouds, we can begin to see the vastness that holds them. Our journey now moves upward in a different way. Not toward height, but toward space. Not toward solidity, but toward openness. We turn our attention from the ground beneath our feet to the expanse above us, where thoughts and emotions appear and disappear without leaving a trace. We continue together now into the wide-open presence of the sky. We find ourselves lying beneath an open sky. It stretches endlessly above us, vast and unobstructed, holding everything without effort. There is no edge to this sky, no boundary we can locate. It simply opens in all directions, quiet and spacious, allowing whatever appears within it to come and go. As we rest here, the sense of solidity we felt on the mountain begins to soften. The ground beneath us still supports us, but our attention is no longer anchored downward. It turns upward, outward, expanding naturally into the wide openness above. The sky does not demand focus. It invites it, gently drawing awareness into its spaciousness. Clouds drift slowly across this open expanse. Some are light and barely noticeable. Others are dense, casting faint shadows as they pass. They move without pattern or urgency, forming and dissolving in their own time. The sky does not interfere with them. It does not try to keep the sky clear or push clouds away. It simply allows them to pass. The Buddha often used this image to describe the nature of awareness. Thoughts, emotions, sensations arise like clouds appearing within awareness and eventually dissolving. Awareness itself, like the sky, remains unchanged. It is not improved by pleasant thoughts nor diminished by difficult ones. It is simply present, wide enough to hold all experience. As we observe the sky, we may begin to recognize how often we confuse ourselves with the clouds. A thought arises and we believe it defines us. An emotion appears and we assume it is who we are. We identify so completely with these passing experiences that we forget the larger space in which they occur. Here, beneath the sky, we are invited to remember. We notice that no cloud ever damages the sky. Storms may gather, winds may drive thick clouds across the horizon. Yet the sky itself remains untouched. When the clouds pass, the openness is revealed once again, exactly as it was before. This is not something the sky achieves, it is simply its nature. The Buddha taught that suffering arises when we mistake the clouds for the sky, when we believe that thoughts and emotions are permanent, personal, and defining. We cling to them or resist them, creating tension. When we recognize them as passing events within a much larger awareness, something loosens. We gain space. Lying here, we may notice how this recognition changes our relationship with experience. Thoughts still arise, feelings still move through us, but they no longer feel as heavy or overwhelming. They are seen in context, held within a vastness that does not collapse under their weight. Awareness does not need to manage what appears within it. It simply knows. We may begin to sense that this awareness is not something we must create. It has been present all along, quietly, witnessing every experience of our lives. From our earliest memories to this very moment, awareness has been here, unchanged, watching thoughts come and go, emotions rise and fall, sensations shift endlessly. We have never been without it. We have only been distracted from it. The sky teaches us that awareness does not need to be narrowed in order to function. It does not need to focus tightly on one thing at a time. It can be open, receptive, allowing many experiences to coexist without conflict. This openness is not vague or dull. It is clear, alert, and deeply present. As we rest in this perspective, we may notice how much effort we usually expend trying to control our inner weather. We try to hold on to pleasant states and push away unpleasant ones. We judge ourselves for having certain thoughts or feelings, believing that a clear mind must be free of clouds. The sky offers a different understanding. Clarity does not require the absence of clouds. It requires knowing that clouds are not the sky. The Buddha described this knowing as freedom. Not a freedom from experience, but freedom within experience. When we no longer identify with every passing cloud, we are no longer pushed and pulled by them. We can allow life to unfold as it does without losing ourselves in it. As we continue to gaze upward, the sense of spaciousness begins to settle within us. We feel less confined by our thoughts, less defined by our emotions. there is room to breathe, room to be. The sky does not ask us to do anything. It simply invites us to recognize what has always been here. And in this recognition, we take the first step into a deeper understanding of awareness itself. As we remain beneath the open sky, something subtle begins to shift in how we experience ourselves. The sky above does not feel distant or separate. Its vastness seems to echo within us, as if the boundary between inner and outer space has gently softened. Awareness no longer feels like something we are doing. It feels like something we are resting in. The Buddha taught that awareness is not personal. It does not belong to one individual more than another. Just as the same sky stretches above every landscape, awareness is shared, universal, and unobstructed by the particular forms that appear within it. Thoughts may differ, emotions may vary, lives may unfold in countless ways, but the space in which all of this occurs remains the same. We may begin to notice how this understanding changes our sense of identity. When we identify with thoughts and emotions, the sense of self feels small and fragile, constantly threatened by whatever arises. When we rest as awareness, the sense of self expands. It becomes less about defending a story and more about witnessing experience as it unfolds. We are no longer contained within the clouds. The clouds appear within us. Clouds continue to move across the sky, and so do thoughts continue to move through awareness. Some thoughts are familiar, returning again and again, shaped by habit and memory. Others arise unexpectedly and dissolve just as quickly. Emotions, too, shift like weather patterns, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent. Awareness does not attempt to organize or correct this movement. It simply allows it. The Buddha emphasized that this allowing is not passive indifference. It is a form of deep understanding. When we stop interfering with experience, we begin to see its true nature. Thoughts are not commands. Emotions are not permanent states. Sensations are not threats. They are events arising and passing within a vast field that remains unchanged. We may notice moments when attention contracts again, drawn into a particular cloud. A strong emotion may arise, pulling awareness into its story. This is not a failure. It is simply the habit of identification reasserting itself. When this happens, we gently remember the sky. We notice that even this moment of contraction is occurring within awareness. The sky has not disappeared. It has only been temporarily overlooked. Resting in this understanding, we begin to feel a new kind of ease. We do not need to chase pleasant experiences or resist difficult ones. We do not need to monitor our inner state constantly. Awareness, is already doing its work. It knows whatever arises without effort. This knowing is immediate and complete. Nothing is excluded. The sky teaches us that openness is not vulnerability, it is strength. A narrow mind must constantly defend itself. A wide mind has room for everything. The Buddha taught that suffering diminishes, not when we control experience, but when we stop fighting it. Awareness does not struggle with what appears. It remains open, spacious, and free. As we continue to rest beneath the sky, we may sense that this openness brings a quiet joy. Not excitement or pleasure, but a gentle contentment that arises from no longer needing things to be different. There is relief in realizing that we do not have to fix ourselves. Awareness does not require improvement. It has always been complete. This recognition also begins to transform how we relate to others. When we see ourselves as awareness, rather than as a collection of thoughts and emotions, we naturally extend that same understanding outward. We begin to sense that others too are expressions of this same vast field. Their thoughts and emotions are clouds passing through their own sky. This recognition softens judgment and opens the door to compassion. The Buddha taught that wisdom and compassion arise together. When we see clearly, we respond kindly. When we recognize the shared nature of awareness, separation loses its grip. We no longer feel so alone in our struggles. We see that all beings are navigating changing inner weather within the same boundless sky. As we prepare to move forward on our journey, we carry this sky-like awareness with us. We do not leave it behind when we stand up or turn our attention elsewhere. Awareness is not tied to posture or place. It travels with us silently, present in every moment, whether we notice it or not. The clouds may grow thicker at times, storms may gather. Life will continue to bring challenges and uncertainty, but the sky remains open, vast, unaffected, and so do we at our deepest level. With this understanding, we are ready to continue carrying the spaciousness of awareness into whatever landscape awaits us next. Resting in this wide awareness, we begin to understand something quietly important. To see clearly is not the same as to accept fully. Awareness allows us to recognize what arises of witnessed thoughts and emotions without becoming lost in them. Yet even when we see clearly, there can still be subtle resistance. A quiet tightening when something unpleasant appears. A wish that certain feelings would not come at all. The Buddha taught that insight opens the door, but acceptance allows us to walk through it. Awareness shows us the nature of experience. Acceptance teaches us how to meet that experience with the whole of ourselves. Without acceptance, awareness can remain distant, observing life from afar. With acceptance, awareness becomes intimate. It meets life where it is. As we release our gaze from the open sky, our attention begins to settle lower, closer to the rhythms of the body and the pulse of feeling. The vastness remains with us, but now it takes on a gentler form, less abstract, more embodied. We begin to sense how awareness can soften into receptivity, how openness can become embrace. Life does not only unfold in thoughts. It moves through sensation, through emotion, through waves that rise and fall within us. To live fully, we must learn not only to see these waves, but to allow them, to meet each one without resistance, trusting that it will pass in its own time. And so our journey continues from the wide openness of the sky down to the steady rhythm of the ocean, a place where movement and acceptance meet, where we learn how to float rather than fight. We turn now toward the sound of waves, carrying the spaciousness of awareness with us as we step into the ocean of acceptance. We arrive at the edge of the ocean as daylight begins to soften into evening. The horizon stretches wide and open where sky and water meet without a clear boundary. Before us, waves move steadily toward the shore, rising and falling in a rhythm older than memory. The sound of the water is constant, neither loud nor quiet, a deep, calming presence that seems to speak directly to the body rather than the mind. Standing here, we feel how different this landscape is from the stillness of the mountain or the openness of the sky. The ocean is always moving. It does not rest in one form for long. Each wave appears, gathers strength, reaches its peak, and then dissolves back into the whole. And yet beneath this endless motion, there is a sense of vastness and depth that does not change. The Buddha often spoke of life as a series of waves, Pleasure and pain, joy and sorrow, gain and loss arise and pass like tides. Much of our suffering, he taught, comes not from the waves themselves, but from our resistance to them. We tense when a difficult wave approaches. We cling when a pleasant one appears. In doing so, we exhaust ourselves. As we watch the ocean, we begin to sense another possibility. The waves do not fight the water that carries them. They rise and fall because that is their nature. They do not question whether they should exist. They do not try to remain at their peak or avoid breaking. They move freely without resistance. We may notice how rarely we allow ourselves this kind of freedom. When emotions arise, we often judge them immediately. Some feelings are welcomed, others are pushed away. We label certain states as progress and others as failure. Yet the ocean does not make such distinctions. It allows every wave, whether gentle or powerful, to move as it will. Standing at the shoreline, we may feel the pull of the water drawing us closer. The breeze carries the faint scent of salt and the cool air touches the skin. The body responds naturally, softening, attuning itself to the rhythm before us. We are not asked to analyze the ocean or control it. We are invited simply to be with it. The Buddha taught that acceptance is not resignation. It is not giving up or becoming passive. Acceptance is the willingness to experience what is present without adding resistance. It is the recognition that fight in reality does not change it, but it does add suffering. When we accept what is here, we meet life directly. As we stand here, we may become aware of emotional waves within ourselves. Some may be subtle, others more pronounced. A sense of calm mixed with unease. A quiet sadness alongside moments of peace. We notice how these inner waves mirror the movement of the ocean. They rise, they linger briefly, and they fall away. Often, when a difficult feeling arises, we brace ourselves. We tighten, hoping to contain it or push it away. But the ocean offers a different lesson. What if instead of bracing, we allowed the wave to pass through? What if we trusted that no feeling remains forever, just as no wave stays frozen at its peak? The Buddha spoke of this trust as equanimity, a balanced acceptance of experience as it comes and goes. Equanimity does not mean we feel nothing. It means we allow ourselves to feel without being overwhelmed. Like the ocean itself, we can contain great movement without losing our depth. As we continue to watch the waves, we notice that even the largest swells eventually return to calm water. The surface may be turbulent, but beneath it the ocean remains steady. This is true of us as well. Emotions may surge on the surface of our experience, but there's a deeper layer that remains untouched. We begin to sense how acceptance invites us into that depth. When we stop resisting our feelings, we naturally sink below their surface. We feel them fully, and in doing so we discover that they are not as solid or permanent as we feared. They move, change, and eventually pass. The ocean does not promise that waves will stop coming. It offers something more honest. It shows us that movement is inevitable, but suffering is not. Suffering arises when we demand that the ocean be still, when we insist that life conform to our preferences. Standing here at the water's edge, we begin to understand that acceptance is a form of wisdom. It is learning how to stand with the waves without being knocked over by them. It is discovering that we are not separate from the movement of life, but part of it. As evening light continues to soften, the ocean keeps moving, patient and unhurried. We remain here, allowing this understanding to settle. knowing that acceptance is not something we achieve once, but a way of meeting each moment as it arrives. As we remain by the ocean, we may feel drawn a little closer to the water. The waves continue their steady rhythm, arriving at the shore and retreating again and again without hesitation. Each wave completes its movement fully. It does not linger and it does not rush. Watching this, we begin to sense how different this rhythm is from the way we often live our lives. So often when an emotion arises, we try to interrupt it. We attempt to shorten what feels uncomfortable or prolong what feels pleasant. We interfere with the natural arc of experience, believing that control will protect us. Yet the ocean shows us that every wave has its own life cycle. When we allow it to rise and fall without interference, it completes itself. The Buddha taught that emotions like waves need to be felt in order to pass. When we resist them, we trap their energy within us. When we accept them, we allow them to move through and dissolve naturally. Acceptance is not something we impose. It is something that happens when we stop blocking the flow. Standing here, we may imagine stepping slightly into the water. The waves wash gently around our feet, hung cool and steady. There is movement, but also support. The water does not push us away. It holds us even as it moves. This is an important distinction. Acceptance does not mean being overwhelmed. It means discovering that we can be held by experience without being consumed by it. As we allow the waves to move around us, we notice how the body responds. There may be a natural loosening, a softening of places that have been tight for a long time. The breath becomes more fluid, less guarded. We begin to trust that we do not need to brace ourselves against every feeling that arises. The Buddha spoke of acceptance as a form of courage. It takes courage to remain present with discomfort without immediately trying to escape it. It takes courage to feel sadness, fear, or uncertainty without labeling them as mistakes. Yet this courage is not harsh or forceful. It is gentle. It is the courage of allowing. We may notice how acceptance changes our relationship with pleasant experiences as well. When a calm wave arrives, we enjoy it without clinging. We appreciate its presence without demanding that it stay. The ocean teaches us that clinging creates as much suffering as resistance. Both disrupt the natural flow of life. As we stand in the water, waves continue to arrive at different strengths. Some are barely noticeable, others carry more energy. Yet each one eventually dissolves. We begin to see that no single wave defines the ocean. In the same way, no single emotion defines us. Feelings are movements within us, not our identity. The Buddha taught that wisdom lies in understanding impermanence not as a loss, but as a freedom. Because emotions are impermanent, we do not need to fear them. Because they change, we can allow them. Acceptance is rooted in this trust. Trust that whatever arises will pass if we let it. We may become aware of how often we have judged ourselves for our emotional responses. We tell ourselves we should not feel this way, that we should be calmer, stronger, more composed. The ocean does not judge its waves. It does not label some movements as failures and others as successes. It allows all of them equally. In this allowing, there is a deep kindness. Acceptance softens the inner struggle that drains us. When we stop fighting ourselves, energy becomes available again. We feel more alive, more present, more connected to the rhythm of life. As we remain with the ocean, we may sense that acceptance is not passive surrender. It is active participation in reality as it is. It is choosing to meet life fully rather than partially. When we accept our experience, we are no longer standing at a distance. We are in relationship with what is happening. The waves continue to move, and we continue to stand, supported by the water and grounded by the shore beneath us. There is a quiet confidence in this stance. We do not need to know what the next wave will bring. We only need to trust that we can meet it. As the light fades further, the ocean keeps breathing, wave after wave, timeless and patient. We begin to understand that acceptance is not something we achieve once and then possess. It is a way of meeting each moment as it arrives. Again and again, wave by wave. When we are ready, we slowly step back from the water, carrying this understanding with us. The ocean remains moving as it always has, and within us something has shifted. We know now that we can allow life to move through us without losing ourselves. With this quiet trust and acceptance, we prepare to continue our journey, ready to explore what unfolds when we stop resisting the natural flow of experience. Acceptance teaches us how to remain with experience as it moves. By standing with the waves rather than against them, we discover that feelings no longer need to be feared or controlled. They rise, they fall, and we remain present through it all. In this way, acceptance restores a sense of trust in life's natural rhythm. Yet as this trust deepens, something else begins to happen. When we stop resisting the waves, when we no longer brace ourselves for what may come, the constant effort of vigilance starts to soften. The body no longer prepares for impact. The mind no longer scans endlessly for what might go wrong. A deeper relaxation becomes possible, one that goes beyond allowing and moves toward rest. The Buddha taught that when struggle ends, quiet naturally reveals itself. Not the quiet of silence alone, but the quiet that comes from no longer needing to manage every moment. This quiet is not achieved by force. It emerges when effort gently falls away. As we leave the shore behind, the sound of the waves gradually fades into the background. What remains is a growing stillness, a sense of being held without movement, without demand. We begin to sense a place where even the waves of feeling settle, where acceptance ripens into profound calm. Our journey now turns inward once more toward a deeper silence that has been present beneath all movement. We continue together, stepping away from the rhythm of the ocean and into the quiet embrace of the night, where rest becomes effortless and the mind is invited to let go completely. We enter the night quietly, as though stepping into a space that has been waiting for us all along. The world around us begins to soften, edges blurring as light fades and sound grows more distant. The sky darkens gradually, not all at once, allowing the eyes and the body to adjust without strain. Night does not arrive with urgency. It unfolds slowly, offering rest rather than demanding it. As we move into this darkness, we may notice how deeply unfamiliar true rest has become. We are accustomed to pauses that are filled with activity, moments of rest that still carry tension and expectation. Even when we lie down, the mind often continues to work, replaying the day, anticipating tomorrow, refusing to fully let go. The Buddha understood this restlessness as a natural result of a mind that has learned to survive through constant alertness. Night offers a different teaching. It does not ask us to solve anything. It does not require clarity or insight. It simply invites us to stop. Standing within the quiet of evening, we begin to sense how much effort we have been carrying. Effort to understand, effort to improve, effort to manage our inner world. Acceptance allowed us to stop resisting experience. Now night invites us to stop managing it altogether. There's a difference between allowing and resting. Allowing still contains intention. Rest is what happens when intention dissolves. The Buddha taught that true rest arises when craving and resistance fall silent. Not because we suppress them, but because they are no longer needed. In the safety of night, the nervous system begins to recognize that it can finally stand down. There is nothing left to chase, nothing left to guard against. As darkness deepens, the senses naturally withdraw. Sounds grow fewer, visual detail fades. The body responds instinctively, muscles softening, breath slowing without instruction. We are not guiding this process, it is happening on its own. Rest is not something we do. It is something we allow by not interfering. We may notice thoughts still moving through the mind, but they no longer feel urgent. They drift more slowly now, like distant lights seen through fog. There is less need to follow them, less need to resolve them. The Buddha described this state as a mind inclining toward peace, not through effort, but through relinquishment. Night does not eliminate thoughts. It removes the pressure to act on them. As we remain here, we may begin to sense a deeper layer of rest beneath physical relaxation. A mental quiet that does not require silence. A sense of being held by something larger than our individual concerns. In this darkness, boundaries soften. The distinction between inner and outer experience becomes less pronounced. We are simply here, resting within the flow of life. The Buddha spoke of rest as a form of wisdom. To rest deeply is to trust that life can continue without our constant supervision. It is to recognize that the heart and mind know how to settle when given the chance. We have not lost this capacity, we have only overridden it through habit. Night restores this trust gently. As we allow ourselves to remain in this quiet, we may notice moments where the sense of doing fades entirely. There is no project to complete, no identity to maintain, just the simple fact of being, breathing, existing. This simplicity is not emptiness. It is fullness without effort. We begin to understand that deep rest is not the absence of awareness. It is awareness without strain. Awareness that does not lean forward or pull back. Awareness that rests in itself. The Buddha taught that such rest prepares the ground for profound clarity. When the mind is no longer exhausted, insight arises naturally. Compassion deepens, understanding matures, but none of this needs to be pursued now. Night is not concerned with outcomes, it offers rest for its own sake. As the darkness settles completely, we sense that we are being invited into an even deeper stillness, one that lies beyond thought, beyond emotion, beyond effort. For now it is enough to remain here, allowing night to hold us, trusting that rest is not something we must earn. In the next part of this story, we will explore how to surrender fully into this depth of rest, allowing the mind to release even its subtlest forms of holding. For now, we simply remain quietly supported by the night. As the night deepens, we find that rest no longer feels like something we are approaching. It feels like something we are already inside. The darkness around us is not empty or threatening. It is soft, containing, almost protective. In this quiet, the mind begins to lose its usual edges. Thoughts become less distinct, more like impressions than statements drifting without urgency or direction. We may notice how different this is from the way we usually try to rest. So often, even in moments meant for sleep, there is a subtle effort to relax, to calm down, to reach a particular state. But here, night does not ask us to relax. It invites us to stop trying altogether. The Buddha taught that the deepest peace arises not from effort, but from the ending of effort. As we remain here, the sense of control that usually governs our inner world begins to soften. We are no longer monitoring our breath or tracking our thoughts. Awareness remains, but it no longer focuses sharply on any one thing. It spreads out, becoming diffuse and gentle, like light dimming naturally at the end of the day. In this state, the boundaries of the self begin to loosen. The usual sense of, I am doing this or I should be feeling that, fades into the background. What remains is a simple presence, unburdened by expectation. The Buddha described this as a mind that has laid down its tools. Nothing more needs to be built. Nothing needs to be repaired. We may notice that memories appear differently now. They arise softly, without pulling us into their stories. Images from the day, fragments of conversation, half-formed thoughts, drift through awareness and dissolve before taking shape. There's no need to engage with them. Night receives them all and lets them go. The body, too, continues to settle on its own. Muscles release without instruction. The breath becomes shallow and quiet, almost imperceptible. There is a sense of sinking, not into unconsciousness, but into a deeper layer of rest that lies beneath the ordinary waking awareness. This is not something we force. It happens when we stop interfering. The Buddha taught that surrender is not a loss of awareness, but a refinement of it. When effort falls away, awareness becomes more subtle, more spacious. It no longer clings to objects. It rests in itself. This is why true rest can feel both deeply relaxing and quietly alert at the same time. As we continue to rest, we may notice brief moments where even the sense of being aware seems to dissolve. There is no thought, no image, no commentary. Just a gentle absence, peaceful and complete. These moments may come and go without announcement. We do not hold on to them. We do not try to bring them back. Night does not ask us to remember. It asks us to release. In this depth of rest, the usual divisions of time begin to soften. Past and future lose their grip. The day that has ended no longer calls for review. The day that will come does not yet demand preparation. There is only this quiet interval suspended between effort and action, where nothing is required of us. The Buddha spoke of such rest as nourishment for the heart and mind. When we allow ourselves to rest this deeply, something within us heals. The constant strain of self-management eases. The nervous system resets. The mind remembers its natural capacity for stillness. We may begin to sense a quiet trust for him, forming beneath the awareness, and like a trust that we do not need to watch over ourselves every moment. Trust that life can continue without our constant intervention. Trust that rest is not a retreat from living, but an essential part of it. As the night holds us, we no longer need to make sense of anything. Understanding will return when it is needed. For now, rest is enough. The Buddha taught that when the mind is allowed to rest fully, wisdom arises naturally without being summoned. We remain here, allowing ourselves to be carried by the quiet rhythm of night. There is no destination we need to reach, no insight we must grasp, just the simple experience of being held, of letting go, of sinking into a peace that does not require explanation. When morning eventually comes, it will find us renewed, but that is not our concern now. For now, we rest deeply, completely, supported by the night and free from the effort of becoming anything at all. Out of deep rest, something gentle begins to stir. Not an awakening that pulls us abruptly back into effort, but a soft return like light slowly entering a darkened room. The night has done its work. The mind has been allowed to settle without interference, and in that settling, something essential has been restored. The Buddha taught that when the mind rests fully, it does not become dull, it becomes clear. Rest is not the opposite of awareness. It is the ground from which refined awareness naturally arises. From this depth of stillness, perception returns slowly, quietly, without urgency. As we remain in this in-between space, neither fully asleep nor actively engaged, we begin to notice subtler movements. Sensations appear more distinctly. The quiet presence that held us through the night now reveals itself with greater clarity. There's less noise, less inner commentary, and more direct knowing. This is a different kind of awareness, not the wide openness of the sky, and not the complete surrender of deep rest, but a delicate attentiveness that arises when the mind is no longer burdened by effort. The Buddha spoke of this as a natural clarity, one that does not need to be cultivated, because it emerges on its own when obstacles fall away. From this place, we begin to sense the world again, but we sense it differently, more gently, more intimately. Experience feels closer, yet less demanding. There is an ease in perception, a quiet readiness to meet what arises without tension. And so our journey continues, not by moving outward, but by learning how to be awake within simplicity. We turn now toward this refined awareness, exploring what it means to be quietly present, alert without strain, receptive without grasping. We move forward together into the soft light of mindful waking. We begin to wake, not by leaving stillness behind, but by carrying it with us. The mind opens its eyes slowly without the usual rush to name, plan, or judge. Awareness returns first as a gentle sensitivity, a quiet knowing that precedes thought. There's a sense of being here before deciding what here means. In this moment, the world feels closer. Sounds are clearer, yet less intrusive. Sensations are more vivid, yet not demanding. The body is present without calling for attention. We notice the simple fact of being awake, and for a moment that is enough. The Buddha taught that mindfulness is not something we add to experience. It is what remains when distraction falls away. In this early waking, we can feel that truth directly. Attention is naturally steady. It does not dart from one object to another. It rests lightly, receptive and alert without strain. We may notice how different this is from our usual mornings. Often, waking brings an immediate flood of thought. The mind leaps into the day ahead, replaying obligations and concerns before the body has fully stirred. But here, waking unfolds without that momentum. There is space between perception and reaction, and within that space, a quiet freedom. As awareness settles into the body, we feel how naturally it aligns with sensation. The contact of air on skin, the subtle movement of breath, the quiet hum of the nervous system coming online. None of this requires commentary. It is known directly without interpretation. The Buddha described this as bare attention, a simple knowing unburdened by story. In this state, we may become aware of how thought begins to reappear. A memory surfaces, a plan forms, a familiar concern makes itself known. But these thoughts arrive softly now without urgency. They do not demand immediate belief or action. We see them as movements within awareness rather than instructions we must follow. This is the heart of mindful waking. We are awake, but not yet pulled into doing, present but not tense. The mind is clear but not narrowed. The Buddha taught that this balance is where wisdom begins to operate in daily life. not in withdrawal from the world, but in meeting it with steadiness and care. As we remain here, we may notice how easily awareness includes everything at once. Sounds, sensations, and thoughts all appear within the same open field. There is no need to choose one and exclude the others. Awareness is wide enough to hold them together without confusion. This openness allows us to respond rather than react. We begin to sense that mindfulness is not a special state reserved for meditation. It is a way of being present that can accompany us into ordinary life. Waking, walking, listening, speaking, all of it can be met with this same quiet attention. The Buddha emphasized that awakening is not confined to stillness. It expresses itself through everyday moments. In this gentle waking, the sense of self feels lighter. We are less identified with our roles, our worries, our personal narratives. There is a simple presence that precedes all of that. From this place, we can choose how to engage, rather than being driven by habit. We may notice how this clarity brings a subtle sense of kindness. When the mind is not crowded, it naturally softens. We are less reactive toward ourselves and others. Small irritations lose their sharpness. Challenges feel more workable. The Buddha taught that mindfulness and compassion grow together, each supporting the other. As the world continues to come into focus, we do not rush ahead. We allow waking to unfold at its own pace. There is no need to grasp at clarity or try to hold on to this delicate state. Mindfulness does not need to be preserved through effort. It remains when we stay simple. We begin to understand that mindful waking is not about maintaining a perfect state of calm. Thoughts will grow louder as the day unfolds. Emotions will arise. Demands will appear. The practice is not to prevent this, but to meet it with the same awareness we feel now, to remember this quality of presence even when things become complex. The Buddha taught that freedom is found not in controlling experience, but in relating to it wisely. Mindful waking gives us a glimpse of what that wisdom feels like. Clear, gentle, responsive. It shows us that we can be awake without being tense, engaged without being overwhelmed. As we prepare to move further into the day, we carry this understanding with us. We are awake not only from sleep, but into presence. And from this place, each moment becomes an opportunity to meet life as it is with clarity, steadiness, and care. As waking continues to unfold, we begin to feel how this quality of attention meets the ordinary movements of life. The body shifts, perhaps sitting up or preparing to move, and awareness follows without urgency. There is no sharp boundary between stillness and action. One flows naturally into the other, as if the day itself were gently emerging from sleep. The Buddha taught that mindfulness is most alive, not when circumstances are quiet, but when we bring attention into movement, walking, reaching, speaking. These are the moments when habit usually takes over, and yet it is precisely here that mindful waking reveals its strength. Awareness does not need silence to remain present. It can accompany us into activity without becoming strained. We notice how intention arises before action. A subtle impulse appears, the wish to stand, to take a step, to begin the day. In ordinary life, this moment often goes unnoticed. Action follows impulse so quickly that we assume they are the same. But in mindful waking, there's a small but meaningful space between them. In that space, choice becomes possible. This is where freedom begins to express itself, not as withdrawal from life, but as a more conscious participation in it. As thoughts become more frequent, we observe how easily they pull attention forward. Plans begin to form. Concerns present themselves. The mind starts to organize the day. None of this is a problem. The Buddha did not teach the elimination of thought, but the understanding of it. Mindful waking allows us to see thought as movement rather than command. We can think without being carried away. We may notice moments when attention tightens again, drawn into a particular worry or expectation. This too is part of waking. Awareness contracts and expands moment by moment. When contraction happens, we do not correct it harshly. We simply notice it. And in noticing, attention naturally opens again. The Buddha described this gentle return as right effort. Not effort that forces, but effort that remembers. Remembering to be present, remembering that awareness is already here. As the day begins to take shape, we feel how mindful waking changes our relationship with others. Listening becomes more attentive. Speaking becomes more measured. We are less inclined to rush to conclusions or defend a position. Awareness creates space, not only within us, but between us and the world. In that space, understanding has room to grow. We may notice how emotions arise alongside waking, a subtle anxiety about the day ahead, a quiet anticipation, perhaps a lingering heaviness from something unresolved. Mindful waking does not ask us to resolve these feelings immediately. It allows them to be present without defining the moment. Feelings are known, but they do not dominate. The Buddha taught that mindfulness brings balance. When awareness is present, we are less likely to be swept into extremes, neither overwhelmed by difficulty nor intoxicated by pleasure. We meet experience with a steadier hand, responding rather than reacting. As activity increases, we may feel the pull to abandon this gentleness. The pace of the world can be persuasive. Yet mindful waking is not fragile. It does not shatter when demands appear. It simply asks to be remembered again and again. Each time we notice, we return. We begin to understand that mindful waking is not a single moment at the start of the day. It is a thread that can run through the entire day if we allow it. A way of standing in experience that does not depend on perfect conditions. Awareness can be present in noise, in conversation, in work, just as surely as it can be present in quiet. The Buddha emphasized that awakening is not something separate from daily life. It is expressed through how we live, how we attend, how we speak, how we act. Mindful waking shows us that clarity is not reserved for special moments. It is available wherever attention is allowed to settle. As we move forward, we carry with us a growing confidence. We do not need to protect this state or hold on to it tightly. Awareness knows how to take care of itself. When we simplify, when we return to direct experience, it naturally reappears. The day now opens fully before us. Sounds grow clearer. Light brightens. The world resumes its familiar rhythm. And within that rhythm, something has shifted. We are awake, not only from sleep, but into presence. We move into the day with a quieter mind and a steadier heart, knowing that mindful waking is not about perfection, but about remembering what is already here. With this understanding, we continue our journey, ready to explore how this quality of awareness supports us through the challenges and changes that life will inevitably bring. Mindful waking shows us how awareness can accompany us into the flow of daily life. We learn that presence does not disappear when activity begins, and that clarity does not require perfect conditions. Yet as the day unfolds, another truth becomes evident. Life does not move gently all the time. Challenges arise, emotions intensify, unexpected difficulties appear without warning. The Buddha taught that awakening is not tested in moments of ease, but in moments of difficulty. It is one thing to be mindful when the mind is calm. It is another to remain present when discomfort, disappointment, or fear arises. Mindful waking prepares us for this meeting, but it does not remove the meeting itself. As awareness settles into daily life, we begin to notice where it is most easily lost. A sharp word, an unexpected obstacle, a familiar emotional trigger. These moments reveal the places where habit still holds sway, and yet they also reveal where practice becomes most meaningful. The path now invites us to turn directly toward these moments of difficulty, not to fix them immediately and not to avoid them, but to understand how awareness can remain steady even when life feels demanding. The Buddha spoke of this as learning to meet suffering with wisdom rather than resistance. Our journey continues now into this deeper territory. From the gentle clarity of waking, we move toward the strength required to remain present in the face of challenge. We step forward together, ready to explore how awareness can become a refuge, even when circumstances are not kind. As we move further into the day, difficulty does not announce itself loudly at first. It often arrives quietly, disguised as a small irritation, a subtle tension in the body, or a familiar emotional tone that we recognize immediately. Something does not go as expected. A word is spoken that lands sharply. A plan is interrupted. A feeling arises that we would rather not feel. In these moments, awareness is tested. The Buddha taught that suffering is not created by difficulty alone, but by how we meet it. Pain is an inevitable part of living. Discomfort, loss, and uncertainty arise for everyone. But the habit of resistance, of saying inwardly, "This should not be happening," is what transforms pain into suffering. When difficulty appears, the body often reacts before thought forms. Muscles tighten, the breath shortens, attention narrows. This happens so quickly that we may not even notice it. We simply find ourselves caught in reaction, pulled away from the steadiness we felt earlier. Meeting difficulty begins with noticing this moment, noticing how the body responds, noticing how the mind contracts, noticing the urge to escape, to fix, or to defend. The Buddha emphasized that awareness does not remove difficulty, but it changes our relationship to it. When we see clearly what is happening, we are no longer completely inside the reaction. We have a place to stand. We may notice how the mind immediately begins to tell a story. Why this should not be happening, who is at fault, what it means about us or about the future. These stories feel convincing, especially when emotion is present. Yet the Buddha taught that thoughts arising in difficulty are not neutral descriptions of reality. They are responses shaped by fear and habit. Seeing this does not require us to argue with the story or replace it with a better one. It simply asks us to recognize that it is a story. As we remain present, we may feel how uncomfortable this is. Reaction feels familiar. It gives us something to do. Presence asks us to stay still with what is uncomfortable. This is why meeting difficulty requires courage, not the courage of confrontation, but the courage of staying. The Buddha spoke often of patience as a form of strength. Patience does not mean endurance without feeling. It means allowing the full experience of a moment without turning away. When we remain present with difficulty, we begin to notice that it is not a single solid thing. It is a combination of sensation, thought, and emotion, each moving in its own way. A tightness in the chest may pulse and shift. A thought may repeat, then soften. An emotion may rise sharply, then slowly fade. None of this happens when we are lost in reaction. It becomes visible only when we pause long enough to see. We may notice an urge to resolve the difficulty immediately, to make it go away, to return to comfort. The Buddha did not deny this urge. He taught us to understand it. The desire for immediate relief is natural, but when it governs our actions, it often creates further suffering. Meeting difficulty does not mean we do nothing. It means we respond from clarity rather than from compulsion. But clarity cannot be rushed. It emerges when we allow ourselves to feel what is present without being overwhelmed by it. As we stay with the moment, something subtle begins to happen. The intensity of the difficulty may remain, but our sense of being trapped within it loosens. We are no longer fused with the experience. We are aware of it. This awareness creates space. In that space, we may begin to sense a deeper steadiness beneath the discomfort. The same steadiness we touched on the mountain. The same openness we recognized in the sky. Difficulty does not erase these qualities. It simply reveals whether we remember them. The Buddha taught that true refuge is not found in circumstances, but in awareness itself. When we remember, this difficulty becomes something we can meet, rather than something we must escape. We are not asked to welcome difficulty or pretend it is pleasant. We are asked to meet it honestly, to allow it to be present without adding the extra burden of resistance. In the next part of this story, we will explore how compassion naturally arises when we meet difficulty in this way, both for ourselves and for others. For now, it is enough to recognize that difficulty has arrived and that we are still here, aware and capable of meeting it. As we remain with difficulty, something important begins to reveal itself. When we stop trying to push the experience away or rush toward resolution, the quality of our attention changes. The sharp edge of resistance softens, and in that softening, understanding becomes possible. The Buddha taught that when suffering is met with awareness rather than avoidance, it naturally gives rise to compassion. Not as an idea, not as a moral instruction, but as a direct response to seeing clearly. When we truly feel our own difficulty without judgment, we recognize something universal. This pain is not personal. This struggle is not unique. This is part of the human condition. In that recognition, separation begins to dissolve. We may notice that the difficulty we are facing is something others have faced before us and will face after us. Disappointment, fear, loss, uncertainty. These experiences are shared across time and culture. They do not belong to us alone. The Buddha often reminded his students of this truth, not to minimize their pain, but to free them from the belief that they were alone in it. As this understanding deepens, our inner posture shifts. We are no longer standing against difficulty as an enemy. We are standing with it, acknowledging its presence and its place in the fabric of life. Compassion first turns inward. When difficulty arises, many of us instinctively criticize ourselves. We believe we should be handling things better. We compare ourselves to an imagined version of who we think we should be: calmer, stronger, more patient. This self-judgment adds another layer of suffering on top of what is already present. The Buddha taught that this habit is born from misunderstanding. We forget that difficulty is not a sign of failure. It is a condition of being alive. When we remember this, the harsh inner voice begins to lose its authority. We may gently say to ourselves, without drama or sentimentality, "This is hard." Anyone in this situation would feel this way. "There's nothing wrong with me for feeling this." These words are not meant to console or convince. They are meant to reflect reality as it is. As self-compassion grows, we may notice that the difficulty no longer feels quite as heavy. It is still present, but it is held differently. The body relaxes a little. The breath deepens. The mind becomes less agitated. From this place, compassion naturally extends outward. When we are no longer consumed by our own resistance, we become more sensitive to the struggles of others. We may recognize familiar patterns in them: defensiveness, frustration, fear that mirror our own. Instead of reacting, we understand. The Buddha taught that understanding is the ground from which compassion grows. When we see that others are also acting from difficulty, confusion, or pain, our responses change. We become less inclined to blame and more inclined to care. This does not mean we excuse harmful behavior or ignore boundaries. Compassion is not passivity. It is clarity infused with care. It allows us to respond firmly when needed, but without hatred or contempt. Meeting difficulty with compassion transforms it. What once felt like an obstacle becomes a teacher. Difficulty shows us where we are still holding tightly. It reveals the places where fear lives, and in doing so, it offers an opportunity to practice. The Buddha compared this process to refining gold. Impurities are revealed through heat, not comfort. In the same way, difficulty exposes the habits of mind that keep us bound. When we meet these moments with awareness and compassion, those habits begin to loosen. We may begin to see that difficulty is not a mistake in the path. It is the path. Each time we meet difficulty without turning away, we strengthen our capacity for presence. Each time we respond with compassion rather than reaction, we weaken the patterns that create suffering. This is how transformation happens, not through dramatic insight, but through countless small moments of wise meeting. As we rest here, we can sense how different this feels from the usual struggle. There is effort, but it is not forceful. There is care, but it is not sentimental. There is steadiness grounded in the simple fact of being aware. The Buddha taught that peace does not come from eliminating difficulty, but from understanding it. When we understand difficulty, it no longer controls us. It becomes something we can hold without being overwhelmed. We may still wish for the difficulty to pass, and that is natural. But we no longer need it to disappear in order to be at peace. We have discovered a deeper stability, one that does not depend on circumstances. As this part of the journey comes to a close, we can acknowledge what we have learned. Difficulty is not something to fear. It is something to meet with awareness, with patience, with compassion. In doing so, we align ourselves with the Buddha's teaching not as a philosophy, but as a living practice. One that unfolds moment by moment exactly where we are. When you feel ready, we will continue together carrying this capacity to meet difficulty into the next landscape of the journey. As we gently leave this place of meeting difficulty, nothing is left behind. The understanding we have touched does not disappear when the moment passes. It settles quietly within us like a deeper layer of steadiness beneath the surface of experience. Difficulty may still arise, but we now know that it does not require struggle. It asks only for presence. In this presence, something becomes clearer. Life is not static. It is movement. Sensations change, emotions shift, circumstances turn in ways we cannot fully predict or control. Even the difficulty we just met is already changing, no longer exactly as it was a few moments ago. The Buddha taught that clinging arises when we forget this truth, when we expect what is moving to remain still, when we ask life to hold a shape it was never meant to keep. As we rest here, we may begin to sense this movement more clearly, not as something threatening, but as something natural, a gentle reminder that nothing needs to be frozen for us to be safe. Ahead of us, the landscape begins to open. There is space, there is air, there is motion that does not push but carries. We are about to explore what it means to move with change rather than against it. To feel how life itself flows moment by moment and how ease becomes possible when we stop resisting that flow. With the steadiness we have cultivated and the compassion we have learned to bring into difficulty, we now step forward into the next part of the journey. As we step into this next part of the journey, we arrive in an open field where the air feels wide and unconfined. There's nothing pressing in from the sides. The sky stretches overhead vast and unobstructed, and the land around us feels spacious, as though it has room for whatever may come. A gentle breeze moves through the field. At first it is barely noticeable. It brushes lightly against the skin, stirs the tops of the grasses, and then passes on. It does not ask permission. It does not announce its arrival. It simply moves, responding to conditions we cannot see. The Buddha taught that change is not an interruption of life. It is life itself. Nothing that arises remains fixed. Sensations shift, moods change. Circumstances unfold and dissolve. Even the sense of who we are is not as solid as it appears. Yet despite knowing this intellectually, we often meet change with resistance. We tighten, we brace, we try to hold things in place. Standing here, we are invited to feel change directly, not as an idea, but as a living experience. Notice how the breeze comes and goes. Sometimes it grows slightly stronger, sometimes it fades almost entirely. The field does not resist it. The grasses bend and rise again. The air moves freely and the landscape remains at ease within that movement. As we observe this, we may recognize something familiar. Change in our own lives often feels like this wind. Plans shift, relationships evolve. Emotions turn in unexpected ways. What once felt stable begins to move. The Buddha did not teach that we can stop this movement. He taught that suffering arises when we try. When change appears, the mind often reacts with fear. What will this lead to? What will be lost? Who will I be if this continues? These questions arise automatically, shaped by a deep habit of seeking certainty. But standing here, we are not asked to answer these questions. We are asked to notice the wind. Feel how it touches the body without harming it. Feel how it moves around us without needing our cooperation. Notice that even as it changes, there is nothing inherently threatening in its movement. The body may begin to soften as we sense this. The breath may deepen. The nervous system recognizes that it does not need to be on guard. Change is happening, and yet we are still here. The Buddha often pointed to nature to illustrate his teachings because nature does not argue with impermanence. The field does not ask the wind to stay the same. The sky does not cling to a single cloud. Everything participates in change without resistance. We too are part of this natural order. As we remain in this open field, we may begin to sense how much effort we spend trying to control what cannot be controlled. We rehearse possible futures. We replay past changes, wishing they had unfolded differently. All of this activity is an attempt to create stability in a world that is defined by movement. The Buddha taught that true stability does not come from controlling change, but from learning how to remain present within it. Standing here, we can practice this directly. Each time the breeze touches us, we feel it fully. Each time it passes, we notice its absence. We do not cling to either moment. We allow the experience to complete itself. This simple act of allowing begins to retrain the mind. We may notice that when we stop resisting change, something unexpected happens. The sense of threat diminishes. The body feels less tense. The mind becomes more spacious. Change no longer feels like something that is happening to us. It feels like something that is happening through us. The Buddha taught that clinging arises from the belief that there is something solid to protect. But when we look closely, we see that life is a flow of conditions constantly forming and dissolving. There is no fixed point we can hold on to, and yet there is a deep intelligence moving through this flow. As the wind continues to move through the field, we may begin to trust this intelligence. Not because everything will turn out the way we want, but because life knows how to move. For now, it is enough to stand here and feel the breeze, to let the body register that change does not require panic, to sense that we can remain present even as conditions shift. In the next part of this story, we will explore what happens when we allow ourselves to move with the wind rather than brace against it. For now, we simply stay here, open and receptive, learning to feel change without fear. As we remain in this open field, the wind begins to change its character. It is no longer only a gentle brush against the skin. At times it becomes more present, moving the grasses in wide visible waves. At other moments it softens again, almost disappearing, as if to remind us that change is never fixed in one form. The Buddha taught that impermanence is not something that happens occasionally. It is the underlying nature of all experience. Nothing holds still long enough to become secure. And yet within this constant movement there is a way to live with ease. We begin to explore that way now. Instead of standing firmly against the wind, imagine allowing your posture to soften. Your weight settles naturally into the ground. The body is upright but not rigid, balanced rather than braced. In this stance, the wind no longer feels like something to endure. It becomes something to feel. Notice how the breeze moves across the skin, how it touches the face, the hands, the clothing. Each contact is brief, complete in itself, leaving no residue behind. The wind does not linger. It does not carry a story. It arrives, it passes, and it is gone. Change in our lives often unfolds in the same way. A situation shifts, an emotion rises, a chapter ends. When we resist these moments, we create friction. When we allow them, they move through us more cleanly. The Buddha did not teach us to be passive in the face of change. He taught us to be flexible. Flexibility is not weakness, it is intelligence responding to conditions. We may notice how often we try to predict change in order to feel safe. We imagine future outcomes, preparing ourselves for disappointment or loss. But this mental rehearsal rarely brings peace. More often, it pulls us away from the only place where stability exists, the present moment. Standing here with the wind moving freely around us, we can practice a different relationship to uncertainty. We do not need to know where the wind will blow next. We only need to feel where it is now. As this understanding deepens, something shifts in the body. The constant background tension of anticipation begins to ease. The breath becomes more fluid. The sense of urgency softens. We realize that we've been spending energy trying to control what was never ours to control. The Buddha taught that suffering arises when we mistake impermanence for a problem. Change itself is neutral. It becomes painful only when we cling to what cannot stay. As we stand in the field, we may imagine ourselves as part of the landscape. Like the grasses, we bend slightly when the wind comes. We rise again when it passes. We are not broken by movement. We are shaped by it. This image is not meant to romanticize change. Some winds in life are strong. Some uproot what we thought was firmly planted. The Buddha did not deny this reality. He taught us how to meet it. When strong winds arise, awareness becomes even more important. We return to the body. We feel our feet on the ground. We stay with the breath. We allow fear to be present without letting it decide our actions. In this way, we remain connected to ourselves, even as the world shifts around us. As we practice this, trust begins to grow. Not trust that everything will be easy, but trust that we can remain present no matter what arises. Trust that we do not need certainty in order to live well. Trust that life knows how to move forward even when we do not see the path. The Buddha spoke of letting go, not as loss, but as freedom. When we stop clinging to fixed outcomes, we discover a surprising lightness. We are no longer carrying the burden of trying to hold the world still. Standing here, we may sense that the wind is no longer something outside of us. Our breath moves in and out. Sensations arise and fade. Thoughts appear and dissolve. Change is happening within us as much as around us, and yet there is something that remains. Awareness itself does not move. It notices movement. It holds experience without being swept away by it. This is the refuge the Buddha pointed to again and again. Not a place without change, but a way of being with change. As the wind gradually softens, we can take a few moments to rest in this understanding. Feel the body standing, supported by the earth. Feel the air moving gently around you. Sense the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can meet whatever changes come. In the next part of the journey, we will explore how this relationship to change opens into a deeper sense of observation and clarity. For now, it is enough to stand here breathing, allowing life to move and trusting that we are part of that movement. As the wind gradually settles, the field grows quieter. Nothing has ended. Nothing has been resolved. The movement simply softens, leaving behind a spacious calm. The grasses no longer bend as visibly, yet the air still holds a sense of openness, as though change has not disappeared, only grown subtle. We notice that even when the wind is no longer felt on the skin, something continues to move within us. Thoughts arise, feelings shift, sensations come and go. The winds of change were never only outside. They were always moving through the mind as well. The Buddha taught that once we stop resisting change, another capacity naturally awakens. The ability to observe without being pulled, to see without immediately reacting, to remain present without becoming entangled. We begin to sense this now. There is a quiet distance opening between awareness and experience, not a distance of disconnection, but of clarity. We are still fully here, yet no longer carried away by every movement. It is as if we have stepped back slightly, not from life, but into a wider perspective. Ahead of us, the landscape begins to shift again. Not outwardly this time, but inwardly. The attention turns gently toward the mind itself, toward the way experience appears, unfolds, and fades. We are about to explore what it means to be the one who sees rather than what is seen, to rest in the role of the gentle observer. With the steadiness we have cultivated and the trust we have begun to feel in movement itself, we now move into the next part of the journey. As we continue, attention turns inward in a subtle but important way. We are no longer focused on a landscape or a movement outside of us. Instead, we begin to notice the quality of awareness itself, the way experience appears, unfolds, and passes through the mind. Imagine now that we are seated in a quiet theater. The room is dim, comfortable, and still. The seat supports the body fully. There is nothing we need to do. Ahead of us is a wide stage, softly lit. This stage is not separate from us. It is the space where our inner experience appears. The Buddha taught that much of our suffering comes from confusing the stage with the audience. We step into the drama of our thoughts and emotions and forget that we are also the one who is watching. Here we begin to remember. On the stage, scenes begin to appear. Thoughts, images, memories, sensations, and feelings arise one by one. Some are familiar, some feel neutral, others carry emotional weight. The stage does not choose what appears. It simply receives. We notice a thought forming. Perhaps it is about the past. Perhaps it is about something unfinished. It plays itself out briefly, then fades. Another scene follows. A feeling arises in the body. Tightness, warmth, restlessness, or ease. It too has a beginning, a middle, and an end. As we sit here, we are not asked to interfere with what appears on the stage. We are not asked to judge the quality of the performance or decide which scenes should stay. The invitation is simply to watch. This is not indifference, it is clarity. The Buddha taught that awareness has the capacity to know experience without becoming entangled in it. When we forget this, we believe that every thought is a command, every emotion a verdict. When we remember it, we discover freedom within experience itself. We may notice how strong the habit of identification is. A thought arises, and immediately the sense of I forms around it. An emotion appears, and suddenly it feels like my emotion, something that defines us. This happens automatically without intention. Seeing this process is the beginning of release. As we continue to watch, we may notice that even intense experiences behave like everything else. They arise, change, and pass. The stage remains, the audience remains. We are not required to suppress or replace any experience. The Buddha did not teach control of the mind in this sense. He taught understanding. When we see clearly how experience functions, clinging loosens naturally. The body may relax as this understanding deepens. The breath becomes easier. The sense of pressure to manage or improve the moment begins to fade. We realize that nothing on the stage can harm the one who is watching. This does not mean that life becomes distant or unreal. In fact, experience becomes more vivid. When we are no longer lost in reaction, we can feel sensations more fully. We can hear sounds more clearly. We can respond to life with greater care. The gentle observer is not detached from life. It is deeply present but not overwhelmed. The Buddha often used simple metaphors to describe this relationship. Thoughts are like clouds passing through the sky. Emotions are like weather patterns moving through a landscape. Awareness is the sky itself, the land itself, unchanged by what passes through. Sitting here, we begin to sense this directly. Awareness does not need to be created. It is already present. It is what is noticing these words right now. As scenes continue to appear on the stage, we may notice that some draw our attention more strongly than others. We may find ourselves leaning forward, mentally becoming absorbed. When this happens, we simply notice it, and gently we return to the seat, back to the role of observer. This return is not an effortful act. It is a remembering. Each time we remember that we are the one who sees not only what is seen, we strengthen this capacity. Over time, it becomes more natural. The mind learns that it does not need to be inside every experience to understand it. For now, it is enough to sit here and watch, to let the scenes come and go, to recognize that awareness remains steady throughout. In the next part of this story, we will explore how this perspective brings ease into daily life, allowing us to move through experiences with clarity and kindness. For now, we rest as the gentle observer presents steady and free. As we remain seated in this quiet theater, something subtle but important begins to settle. The effort to manage experience fades, and in its place there is a simple, steady presence. The stage continues to change, but we no longer feel compelled to step into every scene. The Buddha taught that this shift is not a withdrawal from life, but a return to balance. When we are lost in experience, we suffer. When we stand apart from experience, we become disconnected. The gentle observer stands in the middle, fully aware, yet not entangled. Scenes continue to arise on the stage. A thought appears, perhaps carrying emotion or urgency. We notice it without following it. A sensation arises in the body. We feel it clearly without resistance. A mood passes through, coloring experience for a moment and slowly dissolving. We begin to see a pattern. Everything that appears has movement. Everything that moves eventually changes. Nothing on the stage stays exactly the same for long. And throughout all of this movement, awareness remains. This realization brings relief. Much of our exhaustion comes from trying to hold on to what is pleasant and push away what is uncomfortable. The gentle observer does neither. It allows experience to complete itself. In doing so, it conserves energy. It restores ease. The Buddha emphasized that this way of seeing does not numb us. It actually makes us more sensitive. When we are not fighting experience, we can feel its subtleties. We notice the beginning of a thought before it becomes a story. We sense the first stirrings of emotion before it takes over the body. This early seeing gives us choice. We may notice that when an experience is met with awareness from the beginning, it rarely becomes overwhelming. It moves through naturally like a wave that rises and falls. When we miss this early moment, reaction takes over and the wave feels larger than it is. As the gentle observer becomes more familiar, we begin to trust it. We realize that we do not need to solve every experience to be okay. We do not need to understand everything immediately. Awareness itself is enough. The Buddha taught that wisdom arises from seeing clearly, not from thinking harder. When we stop chasing after answers, understanding often emerges on its own. Sitting here, we may notice how thoughts continue to arise, but they feel less convincing. They are recognized as mental events rather than commands. Emotions still appear, but they are no longer treated as threats. Sensations still come and go, but they are simply felt. Life becomes more workable from this place. This perspective does not stay confined to meditation or quiet moments. It gradually extends into daily life. Conversations, challenges, and decisions are all seen through the same lens of awareness. We are engaged, but not overwhelmed, involved, but not lost. The Buddha taught that freedom does not mean the absence of experience. It means the absence of compulsion. When we are no longer compelled to react, we are free to respond. We may begin to sense how this changes our interactions with others. We listen more fully. We react less defensively. We notice our own inner movements before acting on them. Compassion arises more easily because we are no longer protecting a fragile sense of self. The gentle observer reveals that the self we have been defending is not as solid as we thought. It is a pattern of thoughts and reactions appearing on the stage like everything else. When this is seen, fear loosens its grip. We do not disappear. We become more real. As we rest here, we can sense a quiet confidence forming. Not confidence in outcomes, but confidence in our capacity to meet experience with awareness. Whatever appears on the stage, we know how to sit and watch. This knowing is deeply stabilizing. The Buddha described this as refuge, not a place to hide, but a way of being that remains intact through change. When we rest as the gentle observer, we are at home within ourselves. As this part of the journey comes to a close, we allow the theater image to soften. The sense of observing remains even as the scene dissolves. We carry this perspective with us, not as an effort, but as a natural orientation. In the next part of the journey, we will move into a place of deep quiet, exploring what happens when observation itself settles into silence. For now, it is enough to recognize that awareness is here, steady and available wherever we are. As the images of the theater gradually fade, nothing essential is lost. The sense of being the observer remains quiet and steady even as the form that supported it dissolves. We notice that awareness does not depend on metaphors or settings. It does not require a stage or an audience. It simply is. Thoughts still arise, but they do so more softly now. Emotions still move, but without the same urgency. The momentum of experience begins to slow, not because we force it to, but because there is no longer a need to follow every movement. The Buddha taught that when observation becomes stable, the mind naturally inclines toward stillness. Not the stillness of suppression, not the stillness of absence, but the stillness that comes when nothing is being pushed or pulled. We may begin to notice the space between thoughts, small at first, almost unremarkable. A brief pause before the next idea forms, a moment of quiet before sensation shifts again. These pauses were always present, but we rarely noticed them, because attention was busy moving from one thing to the next. Now the pauses become more visible. As we rest here, the urge to engage diminishes. There is less need to label experience, to interpret it, to make sense of it. Awareness remains awake, but it is no longer leaning forward. It is settling. The Buddha described this movement not as doing something new, but as allowing something ancient to return. The mind, when left undisturbed, knows how to become quiet. Just as water clears when it is no longer stirred, awareness becomes still when it is no longer chasing experience. We are about to enter a place where this stillness is not something we observe, but something we rest within. A space where sound becomes softer, where movement becomes minimal, where presence itself becomes the main experience. With the gentleness we have cultivated and the steadiness of the observer still with us, we now move into a deeper sanctuary of quiet. As we move into this next space, the world grows quieter around us, not abruptly, but naturally, as though sound itself has decided to soften. We find ourselves entering a small sanctuary set apart from the movement of ordinary life. It is not grand or elaborate. It is simple, modest, and intentionally empty. A place designed not to impress, but to receive. The air here feels still. Light is gentle and warm, falling softly rather than sharply. There are no distractions pulling the attention outward. No urgency asking us to do or decide anything. This is a place where nothing is required of us. The Buddha taught that silence is not the absence of sound, but the absence of agitation. A mind at rest does not need perfect conditions. It needs only permission to settle. We take our place here sitting comfortably, allowing the body to be supported fully. There is no effort to hold a posture or control the breath. The body knows how to sit. The breath knows how to move. Our role is simply to allow. At first, the mind may not feel silent at all. Thoughts may continue to arise. Memories, plans, fragments of conversation, subtle worries. This is not a failure of silence. It is the mind releasing what it has been holding. When activity has nowhere to go, it reveals itself more clearly. The Buddha taught that when we stop running from our thoughts, they begin to lose their force. A silence does not come from pushing thoughts away. It comes from no longer feeding them. As we remain here, awareness begins to change its quality. Instead of reaching outward, it gathers inward. Instead of following each thought, it stays closer to the body, closer to the breath, closer to the simple fact of being present. We may notice the sound of our own breathing, the subtle rise and fall of the chest or belly, the faint rhythm of air entering and leaving the body. This sound is not something we focus on tightly. It is simply noticed like a quiet companion. Other sounds may still be present, a distant noise, a soft hum, the natural sounds of the environment. None of these disturb the silence. They appear and fade within it. The Buddha often emphasized that silence is inclusive. It does not reject experience, it holds it. As we continue to sit, the body begins to settle more deeply. Muscles soften, the jaw releases, the shoulders drop slightly. The nervous system recognizes that it is safe to rest. This settling may happen unevenly. At times, rest deepens. At other times, restlessness returns. Both are part of the process. The Buddha taught that patience is essential here. Silence unfolds in its own time. We may notice moments when there is nothing to say inwardly. No commentary, no planning, just a simple presence. These moments may be brief, but they are significant. They show us that silence is not something we must create. It is something we notice when the noise pauses. As the mind rests in these pauses, a different kind of awareness becomes apparent. It is spacious, steady, and unhurried. It does not evaluate experience. It simply knows. The Buddha described this as the natural state of mind when it is no longer entangled. It is not dull. It is awake. It is not effortful. It is at ease. We may notice that in this silence there is a sense of being held. The sanctuary feels supportive, not because of its walls or its stillness, but because awareness itself is supportive. It does not demand anything from us. It allows us to be exactly as we are. Thoughts may still pass through, but they feel distant now, like echoes rather than commands. Emotions may arise, but they do so gently without pulling us away. Silence is not fragile. It does not break when something appears. It absorbs experience without disturbance. The Buddha taught that when we learn to rest in silence, we discover a refuge that is always available. Not a place we must go, but a way of being we can return to. For now, it is enough to sit here in this sanctuary, to feel the body breathing, to sense the quiet that holds everything, to allow the mind to rest without direction. In the next part of this story, we will explore how this silence reveals subtle sounds and inner rhythms that are usually overlooked. For now, we remain here allowing silence to do what it naturally does: restore balance, clarity, and peace. As we remain in this sanctuary, silence begins to reveal another dimension. It is no longer only the absence of agitation. It becomes something we can feel, something alive and responsive. The quiet here is not empty, it is attentive. When the mind grows still, subtle sounds come into awareness. Not sounds we seek, but sounds that have always been present, waiting for attention to slow down enough to hear them. We may notice the soft rhythm of the breath more clearly now. Not just the movement of air, but the faint sound it makes as it passes through the body. The inhale arrives quietly. The exhale releases even more softly. Each breath completes itself without instruction. There may be other, subtle sounds as well. The gentle beating of the heart, a quiet internal hum, the faint movements of the body as it adjusts and settles. These sounds do not demand attention. They simply register within awareness like ripples on a still surface. The Buddha taught that when the mind becomes quiet, it naturally attunes to what is subtle. This is not heightened sensitivity born of effort. It is sensitivity that arises when distraction falls away. As we rest here, we may notice how different this kind of listening feels. We are not straining to hear. We are not focusing narrowly. Awareness is open, receiving whatever appears without preference. This open listening brings a sense of intimacy with experience. We are not observing from a distance. We are present within the quiet, participating in it. The body continues to soften as this deepens. Areas that were holding tension release gradually. The face relaxes, the eyes rest. The breath becomes slower and more even, not because we control it, but because the body recognizes safety. The Buddha often spoke of the body as a gateway to peace. When the body feels safe, the mind follows. Silence is one way the body learns that it no longer needs to be on guard. We may notice moments when even the subtle sounds fade. Not because hearing stops, but because awareness rests so fully that it no longer needs an object. These moments can feel timeless, spacious, quiet in a way that is difficult to describe. The Buddha described such moments as natural absorptions of the mind. They are not achievements. They cannot be forced. They arise when conditions are right, and they pass when conditions change. If such moments appear, we allow them. If they do not, we allow that as well. Silence is not measured by depth or duration. It is measured by ease. As we remain here, we may begin to sense that silence is not something separate from awareness. Silence is awareness when it is not occupied. This understanding changes our relationship to noise and activity. We realize that silence does not disappear when thoughts arise or sounds return. It remains underneath, available whenever we stop feeding agitation. The Buddha taught that this is why silence can be carried into daily life, not as an absence of sound, but as an inner quality. We can walk, speak, and act from silence when awareness remains grounded. Sitting here, we may feel gratitude for this refuge, not as a dramatic emotion, but as a quiet appreciation. The mind does not need to work so hard. The body does not need to brace, or we can rest. As this part of the journey draws to a close, we allow the sanctuary to remain exactly as it is. We do not rush to leave. We simply recognize that silence has done its work. In the next part of the journey, we will step back into a wider world, carrying this inner quiet with us. We will explore how silence connects us to others, reminding us that beneath all differences, we share the same still ground. For now, we remain here a moment longer, breathing gently, listening without effort, and resting in the silence that has always been present. As the silence settles fully within us, it does not ask us to remain hidden or withdrawn. It does not pull us away from the world. Instead, it prepares us to re-enter it with greater openness. The stillness we have touched is not fragile. It does not belong only to quiet rooms or sacred spaces. It is something we carry, something that moves with us. Gradually, awareness begins to widen. The sense of inward focus softens and attention naturally extends outward again. Not hurriedly, not abruptly, just enough to notice that we are not alone in this quiet, that the same silence we rest in is present everywhere, beneath every sound, beneath every movement. The Buddha taught that when the mind is quiet, the illusion of separation begins to thin. We stop experiencing ourselves as isolated points moving through the world. We begin to sense a shared ground, a common space of being. As we prepare to step outward, we may notice how gentle this transition feels. There's no sharp boundary between inner silence and outer life. One flows into the other. Ahead of us, the space opens wider. The quiet we carry now begins to stretch beyond the boundaries of the self. It reaches outward not as effort, but as recognition. Recognition that we are part of something larger, that our breath, our awareness, our presence exists within a vast field shared with countless others. We are about to enter a place where this sense of connection becomes clear, where the stillness we have found reveals not only peace, but belonging. With the silence steady inside us, we now step into the next part of the journey. As we step forward, the space around us opens into a wide meadow beneath the night sky. The ground is gentle underfoot, cool and steady, and above us the sky stretches without edge or boundary. Darkness is present, but it is not heavy. It is soft, vast, and filled with quiet light. Stars begin to appear. At first there are only a few, faint and distant. Then, as our eyes adjust, more reveal themselves. Points of light scattered across the sky, some bright, some barely visible. Each one steady in its own place. The sky does not hurry them into view. It simply holds them. We pause here looking up. The Buddha often pointed to the sky as a reminder of perspective. When the mind narrows, we feel confined within our own concerns. When awareness widens, those concerns find their proper scale. The sky does not erase our difficulties, but it places them within something much larger. As we stand beneath this sky, we may notice a quiet shift inside. The sense of being contained within a small personal story begins to soften. Our thoughts feel less central, our worries less absolute, not because they had disappeared, but because the space around them has grown. We remember that we are not the only ones standing under this sky. Across the world, countless others are resting beneath the same expanse, different lands, different lives, different struggles, and yet the same stars shine over all of us. The same darkness holds us. The same vastness surrounds every human being without distinction. The Buddha taught that separation is largely a creation of the mind. We divide the world into self and other, mine and theirs, forgetting the deeper reality we share. When we look up at the sky, this division becomes harder to maintain. We may begin to sense a quiet kinship. Each star above us can be seen as a life. Each point of light representing someone else's experience, someone else's hope, fear, love, and longing. Some lives burn brightly for a time, others glow softly, almost unseen. All belong equally to the sky. As we allow this image to settle, compassion begins to arise naturally, not as a duty but as recognition. The person we struggle with, the stranger we pass each day, the ones we love and the ones we fear. All are standing under this same sky, carrying their own invisible burdens. The Buddha taught that when we truly understand this, the heart cannot remain closed. We may notice how our usual judgments soften here. The urge to compare, to compete, to defend our position loses strength. Under this vastness, such efforts feel unnecessary. There is enough space for everyone to exist without crowding. The body responds to this understanding. The chest opens slightly, the breath deepens, the shoulders drop. We are no longer holding ourselves apart from the world. We are allowing ourselves to belong. Belonging does not mean agreement. It does not mean approval of harmful actions. It means recognizing shared humanity beneath all differences. The Buddha emphasized that compassion does not require us to deny reality. It requires us to see it more fully. Standing here, we may recall moments when we felt alone. Times when we believed no one could understand what we were experiencing. Beneath this sky, those moments feel less isolating, not because others have lived our exact life, but because all lives contain struggle. We are not unique in our pain. We are not isolated in our longing for peace. This realization can be both humbling and comforting. Humbling because we are not the center of the universe. Comforting because we do not have to carry everything by ourselves. The Buddha taught that wisdom and compassion grow together. When we see clearly, the heart opens. When the heart opens, understanding deepens. As we continue to gaze upward, we may notice how the mind becomes quieter again. Thoughts still arise, but they do not pull us inward. Awareness remains wide like the sky itself. Open, inclusive, steady. We are not trying to hold this experience. We are simply allowing it. In the next part of this story, we will explore how this sense of connection transforms our relationship to others, inviting us to live with greater kindness and care. For now, we remain here under one sky, breathing quietly and remembering that we are part of something vast, shared, and deeply human. As we continue to stand beneath this open sky, the sense of connection deepens in a quiet, unforced way. The stars above do not speak, yet their presence communicates something unmistakable. They remind us that we are part of a vast pattern we did not create and do not need to control. The Buddha taught that when we see clearly the interconnected nature of life, compassion no longer feels like something we must practice. It becomes a natural response. When the illusion of separation softens, care arises on its own. We may notice how this understanding changes the way we think about others. The people we encounter each day often appear only in fragments, a role, a behavior, a single moment of interaction. From these fragments, the mind quickly forms judgments. We decide who is kind and who is difficult, who belongs and who does not. Standing here under the sky, these judgments begin to feel incomplete. Each person carries an entire life within them. Behind every face is a story of hope and disappointment, joy and fear, effort and uncertainty. The Buddha reminded his students again and again that no one is acting from ease alone. Every action arises from conditions, many of which are unseen. When we remember this, patience becomes easier. Anger loses some of its grip. Even when boundaries are needed, they can be set without hardness. As we look at the stars, we may imagine that each light represents not only a life, but also a wish for safety, a wish for happiness, a wish to be understood. These wishes differ in form, but their essence is the same. We share these wishes. This recognition gently dissolves the sense of us and them. We are all moving through uncertainty, all responding to conditions as best we can. Some responses cause harm, others bring healing, but none arise from isolation. The Buddha taught that compassion does not mean agreeing with everything. It means seeing the full picture. When we see the full picture, our hearts naturally soften. We may notice how this perspective includes ourselves as well. Under this sky, we are not required to be perfect. We are allowed to be human. Our own struggles find their place within the larger story of being alive. This shared humanity brings relief. We do not need to stand apart to protect ourselves. We do not need to harden in order to survive. We can remain open and still be strong. The Buddha showed that true strength comes from understanding, not from resistance. As we breathe here, we may feel a warmth spreading through the body. Not excitement, not sentimentality, but a quiet friendliness toward life as it is. A willingness to meet others with less judgment and more curiosity. This friendliness does not require constant effort. It grows from remembering what we share. The stars above us are distant, yet their light reaches us. In the same way, small acts of kindness travel farther than we realize. A moment of patience, a gentle word, a willingness to listen. These things ripple outward, touching lives we may never know. The Buddha taught that we cannot control the world, but we can influence it through the quality of our presence. When we live with awareness and compassion, we contribute something valuable simply by being who we are. As this understanding settles, we may notice how natural it feels. There is nothing to prove, nothing to defend, just a sense of belonging within a larger whole. Eventually, the sky begins to lighten almost imperceptibly. Not yet dawn, but a hint of change on the horizon. The stars remain visible, but the darkness is no longer complete. This gentle shift prepares us for what comes next. We are about to explore what it means to carry this sense of connection into moments of uncertainty and fear, to discover how light appears even when darkness feels overwhelming. For now, we remain here a moment longer under one sky, breathing quietly, allowing the heart to rest in connection, and remembering that we are never as alone as we sometimes believe. As the sense of connection settles within us, the vastness above does not disappear, but it begins to change its tone. The stars remain, yet the light around them shifts. The meadow grows quieter still, and the familiar outlines of the landscape soften. We realize that even under the same sky, there are moments when light is not immediately visible. Moments when darkness feels closer, more intimate, more personal. The Buddha taught that darkness is not the opposite of wisdom. It is one of the places where wisdom is tested. There are times when connection fades from our awareness. Times when fear, uncertainty, or grief seem to close in, narrowing the world again. These moments do not mean we have lost our way. They mean we are human. As we stand here, the sky gradually loses its stars, clouds gather, the moon slips behind them. The light that once guided our gaze outward recedes, leaving us with fewer reference points. We are not being abandoned. We are being invited to learn how to stand when light is not obvious. Ahead of us is a night without landmarks. A darkness that does not threaten but does not explain itself either. A place where the usual reassurances are absent and where awareness must rely on something deeper than sight. With the steadiness we have cultivated and the compassion that has begun to take root, we now step forward into this darkness, not to escape it but to meet it honestly. We step forward and the darkness receives us without resistance. There is no clear path ahead, no visible horizon to guide our movement. The familiar shapes of the world have softened into shadow and sound. Itself seems to carry less direction. We are still here, still breathing, still present, but the certainty we once relied on has faded. The Buddha taught that darkness is not a mistake on the path, it is part of it. In times like this, the mind often searches urgently for something solid, a belief to hold on to, a reassurance to cling to, a sign that this uncertainty will end quickly. When none of these appear, discomfort grows. The body tightens. The breath becomes shallow. Fear whispers that something has gone wrong. We notice these responses without judgment. Fear does not mean we are failing. It means we are standing at the edge of what we cannot yet see. As we move through the darkness, each step becomes slower, more deliberate. We cannot rush when the way ahead is unclear. We must feel our footing before committing our weight. This slowness is not weakness. It is intelligence responding to conditions. The Buddha spoke of this kind of attention as wise restraint. When clarity is limited, we rely less on speed and more on presence. We may notice how different this feels from moments of confidence or ease. In darkness, we cannot lean on momentum. We cannot assume the next step will be safe. We must stay close to the body, close to the breath, close to the simple fact of being here now. This closeness brings us into direct contact with our vulnerability. The darkness reveals how much we depend on seeing ahead, how often we measure safety by certainty. When the future is obscured, the mind fills the gap with imagination, often turning toward worst-case scenarios. The Buddha taught that this tendency is natural, but not reliable. The mind is skilled at creating stories, especially when information is incomplete. Seeing this is important. It allows us to question the fear without dismissing it. We may feel an urge to turn back, to return to familiar ground where things felt more stable. This urge does not need to be resisted forcefully. It simply needs to be seen. The Buddha emphasized that understanding desire weakens its grip more effectively than suppression. As we continue forward, we may notice something subtle. Even in darkness, there is still sensation. The ground beneath our feet, the movement of breath, the quiet rhythm of the heart. These are not taken away by its absence of light. Presence remains. The Buddha taught that when external supports fall away, internal ones become more visible. We begin to see what we truly rely on when conditions are uncertain. The darkness also reveals how much effort we usually expend trying to control outcomes. When we cannot see where we are going, control becomes impossible. We are forced to let go, not as a practice, but as a necessity. This letting go is not peaceful at first. It feels exposed, unsettling. Yet within it, lies an important truth. Much of our anxiety comes from trying to manage what is inherently uncertain. As we walk, we may notice moments when fear spikes suddenly without a clear cause. A sound, a thought, a bodily sensation interpreted as danger. When this happens, we pause. We feel the breath. We let the body register that we are still standing, still supported. The Buddha taught that grounding in the body is essential when the mind becomes overwhelmed. The body lives in the present. It reminds us where we are. We may not know what lies ahead, but we know where we are now. This realization does not remove fear entirely, but it makes it workable. We no longer have to solve the darkness. We only have to take this step. In the darkness, we learn something important about trust. Not trust in outcomes, but trust in our capacity to meet what arises. Trust that awareness does not disappear when light does. Trust that even without answers, we can remain present. The Buddha taught that wisdom grows strongest in places where certainty is weakest. When we cannot rely on familiar reference points, we discover deeper ones. As we continue through the darkness, we are not rushing toward light. We are learning how to walk without it. In the next part of this story, we will explore how the darkness itself begins to teach us, revealing quiet forms of guidance that do not depend on sight. For now, we continue step by step, breathing steadily, allowing the night to be exactly as it is. As we continue walking, the darkness no longer feels entirely unfamiliar. It has not lifted, but our relationship to it has begun to change. What once felt like an absence now reveals itself as a different kind of presence. The eyes may still see little, yet awareness feels sharper, more attuned to what cannot be grasped by sight alone. The Buddha taught that when one sense is limited, others naturally awaken. In the darkness, we listen more carefully. Sounds that once blended into the background now carry meaning. The subtle brush of air against the skin, the faint shift of the ground beneath our feet, the rhythm of our own breathing, steady and dependable. These quiet signals begin to guide us not towards certainty, but towards stability. We begin to realize that guidance does not always arrive as clarity. Sometimes it arrives as a feeling in the body, a sense of when to pause, a subtle hesitation that asks us to slow down, an inner knowing that does not explain itself but feels trustworthy. The Buddha spoke of this as wisdom that arises from presence, not from analysis. As we walk, we may notice how the mind still tries to predict what lies ahead. It searches for patterns, for reassurance, for signs that the darkness will soon end. When it finds none, frustration may arise. Doubt may whisper that we are lost, that we should not be here. We notice these thoughts without following them. The Buddha taught that doubt is one of the natural companions of uncertainty. It does not need to be defeated. It needs to be understood. Doubt loses its power when it is seen clearly as a mental event rather than a truth. Each step we take without full certainty becomes an act of trust, not blind trust, but embodied trust. Trust in the next step, trust in the breath, trust in awareness itself. We may notice how this kind of trust feels different from confidence. Confidence relies on knowing. Trust arises precisely when knowing is unavailable. It does not promise safety. It offers presence. As we continue, we may become aware of memories surfacing. Other times in our lives when we walked without clear direction. Periods of loss, transition, or waiting. Moments when answers were delayed and the future felt opaque. These memories do not arise to frighten us. They arise to remind us that we have been here before and that we continued. The Buddha often reminded his students that impermanence applies not only to pleasant states but to difficult ones as well. Darkness, too, changes. Even when we cannot see the shift, it is happening. As we walk, we may sense a gradual softening of resistance. The body no longer braces as tightly. The breath moves more freely. We are no longer fighting the darkness or demanding that it explain itself. We are simply moving within it. This acceptance does not feel triumphant. It feels quiet, mature, grounded. The darkness teaches us something that light cannot. It shows us how to rely on what is always available, even when circumstances strip away our usual supports. It teaches us that awareness does not depend on visibility. It is present in every condition. The Buddha taught that true refuge is not found in what we can see or predict, but in the mind that knows how to remain present. As we continue, we may notice moments of stillness between steps, brief pauses where nothing moves and nothing is required. In these pauses, the darkness feels less threatening. It feels like a container holding us rather than obscuring us. We begin to understand that darkness is not empty. It is full of potential, full of listening, full of depth. There may be moments when fear returns suddenly without warning. A thought, a sound, a sensation triggers it. When this happens, we do not judge ourselves. We return to the body. We feel the feet on the ground. We feel the breath moving in and out. We remind ourselves gently we are here and this moment is being met. The Buddha taught that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to stay present with it. Step by step, we continue, not knowing where the path leads, but knowing how to walk it. The darkness no longer feels like something we must escape. It feels like a place we can move through with care. As this part of the journey draws to a close, we sense that something has shifted within us. We are less dependent on light than we once were, less afraid of not knowing, more willing to trust the quiet guidance of awareness. Ahead, the darkness remains, but it feels thinner now, not because it has changed dramatically, but because we have changed. In the next part of the journey, we will discover how even the faintest light begins to appear not as a dramatic revelation, but as a gentle recognition that clarity often emerges when we stop demanding it. For now, we continue walking steady and present, carrying with us the quiet strength the darkness has revealed. As we continue forward, we notice that nothing dramatic has changed. The darkness has not suddenly lifted. There is no clear line marking an end or a beginning, and yet something within us feels different. Our steps are steadier now, our breath moves with less hesitation. The uncertainty that once felt overwhelming has become familiar terrain. The Buddha taught that clarity does not arrive by force. It emerges when resistance no longer stands in its way. We may begin to sense a faint difference in the darkness. Not a light we can point to, not something we can grasp, but a subtle easing. The night feels less dense, less closed, as if space itself has grown more accommodating. This is how insight often appears. Not as an answer to a question we have been asking, but as the quiet recognition that the question no longer holds the same weight. We realize that we have been walking all along. That presence did not abandon us in the dark. That awareness did not wait for conditions to improve before staying with us. The Buddha taught that when we stop demanding certainty, understanding begins to form on its own. As we pause here, we may notice how the body responds. There is less urgency to move, but also less fear of standing still. We no longer feel caught between pushing forward and turning back. We are simply here, balanced within the moment. The darkness now feels like a background rather than an obstacle. Ahead of us, something begins to take shape. Not a scene, not a destination, but a sense of integration. The journey has not been about escaping difficulty, uncertainty, or darkness. It has been about learning how to meet each of these with awareness. We are approaching a place where all that we have touched, stillness, openness, acceptance, presence, compassion, begin to gather into one understanding. Not as a conclusion, but as a quiet wholeness. With the steadiness we have cultivated and the trust that has grown through walking without sight, we now step toward the final movement of this journey. A place not beyond life, but fully within it, We arrive without crossing a visible threshold. There is no moment that announces itself as arrival, no sign that tells us the journey is complete. And yet, there is a quiet recognition that we are no longer moving in the same way we were before. The Buddha taught that the path does not end somewhere else. It ends in understanding. And understanding does not appear as an event, it settles as a way of being. As we pause here, we notice that nothing needs to change for this moment to be complete. The world remains imperfect. Uncertainty has not disappeared. Life continues to unfold with all of its complexity. But our relationship to it has softened. We are no longer pushing against what is here. We are no longer searching for a different moment. There is a sense of coming home. Not to a place, but to a familiarity we recognize deeply. A steadiness that does not require effort. A presence that does not need to be maintained. Awareness feels settled now, not because it is fixed, but because it is no longer trying to become anything else. Throughout this journey, we have moved through many landscapes, stillness and movement, openness and darkness, rest and difficulty. None of these were destinations. Each one revealed something essential about how we relate to experience. Now those qualities begin to gather. We notice that awareness can be quiet without withdrawing, open without losing itself, present without strain, compassionate without being overwhelmed. This integration does not feel dramatic. It feels ordinary, natural, as though this is how things were always meant to be experienced. The Buddha taught that awakening is not an extraordinary state added to life. It is life seen clearly, without distortion. As we remain here, we may notice how the sense of seeking has eased. Not because all questions have been answered, but because we no longer need immediate answers to feel at peace. Curiosity remains, but urgency has faded. There is room now for not knowing. This ease extends into the body. The breath moves freely unmonitored. The muscles rest without collapsing. The nervous system feels settled, not asleep, but at ease. We are alert without tension, present without pressure. We may notice that thoughts still arise, plans still form, emotions still move through us. Nothing has been eliminated, but the relationship has changed. Thoughts are not commands. Emotions are not obstacles. Sensations are not threats. They are part of the landscape of being alive. The Buddha taught that freedom does not come from controlling experience, but from no longer being controlled by it. We begin to sense that truth directly. Life continues to happen, but we are no longer carried away by every movement. There is a quiet confidence here. Not confidence in outcomes or certainty, but confidence in awareness itself. Confidence that whatever arises can be met. Confidence that we do not need to abandon ourselves when things become difficult. This confidence is not loud, it does not assert itself, it simply remains. As we sit with this, we may realize that what we were seeking was never absent. It was obscured by habit, by effort, by the belief that peace had to be earned or achieved. The Buddha taught that peace is uncovered, not created. Returning home does not mean retreating from life. It means engaging with life from a place of clarity and care. We can act, decide, and respond without losing our center. We can feel deeply without becoming lost. We can move forward without leaving ourselves behind. This home is not fragile. It does not depend on silence, comfort, or certainty. It travels with us. It is available in moments of ease and moments of strain alike. As we rest here, we do not cling to this understanding. We do not try to preserve it. We trust that awareness knows how to return to itself again and again. The journey has not been about reaching an end point. It has been about remembering how to be present. In the next part of this final story, we will explore how this sense of home expresses itself in ordinary moments, how it lives in simple actions, quiet choices, and the rhythm of daily life. For now, it is enough to rest here, to feel the steadiness beneath experience, to recognize that nothing essential is missing. We are here, and this is home. As we remain here, the sense of home begins to express itself in simple, ordinary ways. Not as a feeling we must hold on to, but as a quiet orientation that shapes how we meet each moment. There is no need to announce it. It shows itself naturally through how we breathe, how we listen, how we move through the day. The Buddha taught that wisdom reveals itself in the ordinary, not in special states or dramatic realizations, but in the way we respond to what is directly in front of us. We may notice that attention now rests more easily in small moments. The feeling of the body standing or sitting, the sound of a room at rest, the simple act of breathing without interference. These moments no longer feel like transitions between more important events. They feel complete in themselves. Home is not something we return to at the end of the day. It is something we live from. As we imagine moving back into daily life, we do not leave this place behind. We carry it quietly without effort. When challenges arise, we may still feel uncertainty or discomfort, but we are less likely to abandon ourselves in those moments. We remember how to pause, how to feel the body, how to stay present without needing to fix everything immediately. The Buddha taught that presence is the most reliable refuge, not because it makes life predictable, but because it allows us to remain whole within unpredictability. We may notice that compassion now arises more easily. When we are less busy defending ourselves, we have more space to see others clearly. We listen with less urgency to reply. We speak with less need to prove. We recognize suffering without turning away from it. This compassion is not dramatic. It does not seek recognition. It appears quietly in patience, in restraint, in the willingness to understand before judging. Home is felt most clearly in these moments. We may also notice that we no longer chase peace in the same way. We do not demand that conditions be perfect before we allow ourselves to rest. We have learned that rest is possible, even in movement, that stillness can be present within activity. The Buddha taught that the mind at home does not cling to extremes. It does not demand silence, nor does it fear noise. It knows how to settle again and again, regardless of circumstances. As we continue, we may realize that nothing we experienced along this journey was separate. Stillness Openness, acceptance, awareness, compassion, darkness, and return all were expressions of the same understanding unfolding in different forms. We did not collect these qualities, we uncovered them. Returning home does not mean we will never feel lost again. It means that when we do, we know how to come back, not through force, not through effort, but through remembering the body, the breath, and the simple act of being present. The Buddha taught that forgetting is natural. Remembering is practice. Each time we notice that we have wandered, we return gently. Each return strengthens familiarity. Over time, home feels closer. Not because we cling to it, but because we stop wandering so far away. As this journey draws to a close, there is nothing we need to hold on to. No lesson to memorize, no state to preserve. Everything essential has already been integrated. We are not being asked to remain in quiet reflection forever. We are being invited to live, to wake, to meet what arises, to rest when rest is needed, to act when action is required, and to remain kind, especially when things are uncertain. This is what returning home looks like. Not an ending, but a beginning, lived differently. As we take a final breath together, we allow this sense of home to settle fully. We trust that it will be there when we need it. Not because we remember every word of this journey, but because awareness remembers itself. The path continues as it always has, moment by moment. And wherever we are, whatever we face, we know now how to return. We are already home. As the night continues to hold you, remember that you are not walking this quiet path alone. This space of rest, reflection, and gentle awareness is shared with many others who arrive here, night after night, seeking the same calm and understanding. Here at the Long Night, we create these journeys as a place to rest your mind, to soften your heart, and to let the long night carry you safely toward peace. If these moments of stillness have brought you comfort, you are always welcome to return. By staying connected, you help this quiet space continue to exist for others who may need it too. For now, there is nothing more to do. We wish you a peaceful night, a gentle letting go, and deep restoring sleep. May you rest well, and may the long night be kind to you. Good night.